Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Get an earful of unusual nocturnal emissions with radio's Lord of Misrule, Iain Lee. No relation, thank God.
Unfiltered Night Talk with the original king of unconventional conversation.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Oh man, we got distracted. We missed the end. Can someone please 0344 499 1000? Can someone please tell us what happened at the end of the Hotel Inspectors with Alex Polizzi? We were watching it. It was an old woman in her 70s who had this big sort of country house, and the last we saw. She had some members of the online housing press coming around, and she was trying to market them. So if anyone saw the end of the Hotel Inspectors on Channel 5 with Alex Polizzi, 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you'd like to give us a call. And I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll wait. We won't talk to anyone. We won't do anything. Catherine, I hope this is okay with you.
Yeah.
We won't do anything until we have someone tell us what happened at the end of tonight's episode of the Hotel Inspectors.
Because I saw the bit where, spoiler alert in case you taped it, listen away now, about 5 minutes before the end she'd moved some of the cushions around.
Yep.
It looked a lot better, didn't it?
Okay.
It's a lot better.
So 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. Let's play some music to play some encouraging phone-in music. Here we go. Oh, we've got a phone call already. Let's go to Mary. Good evening, Mary.
Hello. You owe me an apology.
Yeah, Mary, what happened at the end of the Hotel Inspectors with Alex Polizzi, please?
Alex Polizzi killed them all.
Okay, thanks very much for your call. So, there we go, that's that sorted then.
I wondered when that was going to happen.
Yep, it was a twist that I did not see coming. Alex Polizzi killed them all. 0344 499 1000. And now we've got that solved, we can carry on with the rest of the show.
So tense.
I tell you what's interesting, right? And, this is kind of a World Cup free zone, okay? But I would like to know what you did to avoid the World Cup. If some of you watched it and will have enjoyed it, and that's great, fantastic, congratulations. But what did you do instead of it? Catherine and I genuinely watched Dinner Dates on ITVB, and we watched The Hotel Inspector on Channel 5, because I literally couldn't care less. But I tell you what was interesting was the physicality, because we're next door to Talk Sport. So you've got Cundy and Goldstein, and then you've got, what are you doing?
You're not in it.
I don't really care, to be honest, idiots. And loads of their little minions that's kind of run around and want to please them, okay? And towards the end, well, throughout the whole thing, the language was incredible. Effing and jeffing and seeing and
C-bombs.
all of this stuff. And then the excitement at the end when penalties were going on, it really was remarkable. So you can give us a call and let us know if you avoided it. How did you avoid it? What did you watch instead? What did you do instead? Yeah, you can call in with that, or you can just, you can call in with anything. I've got a cold. It was starting yesterday, and today it's really hit me full. Yeah, let's bring him on. Let's bring him on. It's hit me full on, and I'm feeling absolutely lousy today. It's not sleeping, struggling with a cold, but we're going to get through it. And I want to do this thing that we kind of started recently, where we highlight good news. We'll talk about David Byrne from Talking Heads in a bit, because he set up a website that just puts out good news, okay? And so we're going to talk about that. Ken's put the phone down. Do you want to get him back? Ken bottled it again. Dear God,
Such a flirt.
He is such a little tease. Ken from Newcastle. And I'm keen to talk to Ken because there's a great story. I went to Pride in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Never been to a Pride event before. What do we need Pride for? They got equal votes. Yeah, gays are still... He doesn't want to come in. Come on. Right, OK. Ken, could you stop phoning up my radio show and wasting the time of my technical operator, please? All right? Go and phone up God or Jesus or something. Stop wasting the time of my team. I don't even want to listen to your religious hatred anyway. Goodness sakes, man. 2 days in a row. If he phones up again, Sam, don't answer it. I'm taking him straight to air, OK? If he phones up again, Ken's coming straight to air. How dare he phone up twice? Well, 2 days in a row. 4 times yesterday, twice today, and waste Sam's time. Outrageous. Anyway. This is for you, Ken. I went to Pride in New York, Gay Pride. Why do we need Gay Pride? Because gays are still getting their face smacked in and murdered because of who they choose to walk down the street holding hands with. That's kind of why. And it was brilliant. Actually, what was interesting was the number of floats that were sponsored by big corporate. It's a corporate event, you know, that Barclays is proud to sponsor the Bronx Queers, and you know, it's all stuff like that. It wasn't the Bronx Queers, but it was those kind of, and Mastercard was another one. I thought, this is a little bit weird, but what was interesting were the number of gay, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer religious groups that were taking part. They're all different faiths, from all different parts of New York. So I saw a couple of Catholic, gay, you know, the East Side Catholic Church is proud to support Gay Pride. And lots of gay, I'm assuming the majority of them were gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, kind of marching down with their banners. Big Jewish float. I was going to say, this will get me in trouble. This is what I was going to say, and then I stopped myself. A normal church, and by that I mean it was a normal church. I don't mean Catholics or Jews. No, it was. They kind of had lots of different denominations of Christianity in America, like Pentecostal, and I can't think of any other. But what closer to C of E is what I mean when I say normal. You know what I mean. There was a kind of a traditional American church. All of these. I didn't see an Islamic one. Doesn't mean there wasn't one. Just I didn't see it. And I put that out there before people phone and say, but you didn't see Islam for benders. I didn't. But it doesn't mean that there necessarily was one. But all these different religious groups. And I was only there watching for about 45 minutes. Watch at one spot, then walk down a bit further and another spot. So I wasn't watching for long. It went on for hours. All through the city of New York. And I was really impressed at the number of religious groups, because quite often you hear that religion is very anti-gay. You know, Bible says, what does the Bible say? Man shall not lie with man, and you've extrapolated from that like man being in love with another man is bad, and you've extrapolated from that women being in love with each other is bad, and you've extrapolated from that trans is bad. Oh, no, trans isn't. No, that's not from that line. That's from God made us in his own image. Right, hang on a second. So there's all of that nonsense, right?
But they're still wearing polyblend fabrics,
yeah,
right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Still eating shellfish and all of that stuff. Oh, that's the Old Testament. Oh, no, that's the Old Testament. I know all the arguments, and they're all rubbish, right? They're all rubbish. So this is a nice story. I think it's a nice story. It's got a hint of sadness that these people felt they had to do it, but it's kind of nice. These Christians, I got this from Twitter. These Christians marched a pride parade with "I'm sorry" signs. Jesus didn't turn people away. Neither do we. And there's a group of Christians, and there's not many. There's maybe there's maybe 15 there. I don't know. We'll scroll down. And they've got signs. They've got a fella with a T-shirt on that says, "I'm sorry." He's holding a sign saying, "I used to be a Bible-banging homophobe. Sorry." I think that's great. The guy's got the guy next to him. Jesus didn't turn people away. Neither do we. And here's a tweet. Big guy. Two people got a massive poster. "I'm sorry, we're here to apologise for the ways that we, as Christians, have harmed the LGBT community. I'm sorry for hiding behind religion when really I was just scared. I'm sorry I've looked at you as a sex act instead of a child of God." Boom! Get in there! "I'm sorry I've looked down on you instead of honouring your humanity. I'm sorry I've rejected and hurt your family in the name of family values. I'm sorry for not listening. I'm sorry for judging you." Isn't that incredible? Then there's loads. God loves you, so do we. Hashtag LGBTQ, you are loved. I'm sorry Christians have shunned you. Lots of kind of handmade signs and stuff. And I think that's beautiful, right? I feel kind of bad. It's like that thing when like a Muslim bomb goes off, an Islamic extremist bomb goes off. So my language is a bit ham-fisted today. But, you know, when an Islamic extremist terrorist kills people and everyone says, well, we need to get a Muslim on the air to apologise. No, you don't. And sometimes you'll hear radio shows that book guests will get an Islamic cleric, I think that's the term, or a leader of the community to come on and say, but of course you're against, oh yeah, no, we're against this. And sometimes you'll hear radio shows where Muslims spontaneously phone up and say, I just want to apologise for that. And I always feel kind of bad because normal people, people who can think, know that the Islamic terrorists form a tiny, tiny part of Islam. And that thing of, well, they're not real Muslims. Well, they're probably not, but they're doing it under the name of Islam and under the name of being a Muslim. So you kind of have to factor into that. I'm not one of those people that thinks, well, you don't even mention it. You know, they're saying they're doing it under Islam. But, so you have to acknowledge that. But that's like, you know, the tiniest percentage of... That's like me apologising for Fred West because I'm a white bloke. You know, it's that kind of thing. So seeing these Christians coming out and saying, we're sorry, you know, for Christianity has been bad to you, and we're sorry that... the personal ones are slightly different, actually. But so part of me feels, hey, you don't need to do that, guys. Because I know, you know... I know loads of, I don't know, but I've spoken to many Christians that think being gay is all right, you know, that aren't that bothered by it, that aren't bothered by it at all, you know, that we're all God's creatures. But also, I do think that's quite lovely, and I think that's quite nice, and there's loads of, obviously, positive comments on Twitter. I'm sure there'll be some arseholes around as well. But I just think that's a nice thing that they went out and said, look, we're Christian, but... we ain't got a problem with who you fall in love with or who you have sex. We ain't got a problem with any of that. You know, God loves you all, baby. And I think that is an important message. I knew if I kept talking, I'd get to a point. Because, remember the falling out we had? I'm sure you do remember it, Catherine. When we were at the BBC, where I called some Christians bigots because homosexuality was a sin. We don't hate Christians, Ian. We love them. That's why we want to save them from eternal damnation.
Homosexuals, not Christians.
Homosexuals. So we don't hate homosexuals. Thank you. And this is my cold is making me ham-fisted and clumsy with my words, which could mean a dangerous show tonight. And then we got in trouble with the BBC for bias. And I'm going, yeah, fast forward to the bit where we had a lesbian priest, and then rewind it a little bit from that to the bit where we had a male heterosexual priest who said... He was a bishop, wasn't he? He was a bishop who said, no, I ain't got a problem. It doesn't say that in the Bible. People... it could be argued, it could be interpreted like that, but most Christians don't see it that way. I certainly don't see it that way. And... why was I making that point, Catherine? You'll remind me, please. Because rewind. Because we called a bigot a bigot, yeah. And the BBC lost their nerve about it. Yeah. But actually, for the vast majority of Christians, it's not the big deal it's painted to be. In 2018, right? How can it be? If my boys come up to me and tell me they're gay, this happened this happened within our lifetime. Dads wouldn't talk to their sons. I have a friend whose father wouldn't eat with him anymore, and he made him eat in the kitchen with the dog. Wow. Mums would weep over their sons. Dads wouldn't talk to their daughters. Dad, I'm gay. You're no son of mine, son. People would, families would fall apart because of that. And there are people our age and slightly older who are waiting for their parents to die before they live their lives in the open because they're terrified of what their parents will say. The only... and I've got to be careful how I say this because people won't hear this properly. So I'm going to... And I'm aware that my head is slightly cloudy, so I might get this wrong. I will feel a disappointment if my sons tell me they are gay because I know, and even, it's probably a good 10 years... hence, maybe further, if they do, I don't know. Because I know that their life's going to be harder. Just because of prejudice. Just because of prejudice that is still there, which is why we still need gay pride, because you do still hear of people getting beaten up because they're gay. People getting spat at because they're holding hands with their girlfriend or their boy. All of this stuff. So my sadness, and it'll be a tinge. It'll be a concern more than a sadness. Concern is a better word. My concern will be, your life's going to be a bit harder because of that. because there are nasty people out there who will exploit that and who will use it as a weapon against you. But that's it. It'll be a concern more than a sadness. That sigh of, because you want your kids to have the easiest, smoothest lives through the world. And it'll be a little bit going, oh man, you're going to have it a little bit tougher. But I'm going to love them just the same. I'm going to want the same thing. There won't be any disappointment. Oh God, my sons are gay. There'll be none of that. Thanks for telling me. I'm glad you felt you could tell me. What? Right, are you seeing anyone? Can I meet him? Be all of that. That's all I want is the best for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And any thought that the direction they head in life might be a little bit harder for them. Of course, that'll make me a little bit sad.
Yeah, because the whole point is, we try to work hard and to make sure that our kids' path through life is easier than ours.
Yeah, of course. That's the way of putting it.
And I would have said up to a few years ago that things were changing, but there seems to be an attitude at the moment, not just here, but in America as well, where the unspeakable is now speakable. People don't feel that they can't voice their prejudices. People feel that there is a strength in doing it because they're just saying what everyone thinks.
It's better than it was by a country mile. It's way better than it was, and I do think it's heading in the right direction. I think we'll look back in 10 years' time on this extremism on both the left and the right as a blip. I think it will, as these things do, politics and bigotry has kind of a way of correcting itself over a period of time. And I think we're pretty much heading in the right direction. We veered off a little bit this way, and then we'll veer off a little bit that way, and then we'll head in the right direction. But to think, imagine your kid's the most precious thing. Dad, I got to say I'm gay. Oh, you're no son of mine.
That's that then.
You're no son of mine. Get the hell out of mine. And we hear stories about it all the time. Anyway, we'll talk about the gay conversion therapy a little bit later on, which the government is going to make illegal. Well done, government. We had another Christian thing. We had a guy on because he was giving a talk in a church, I think in Milton Keynes or somewhere near there. About gay conversion therapy, because he had it's Christian therapy where you get the gayness gets prayed out of you. The gayness gets prayed out of you, and all of this stuff. And he'd had it. He was married to a woman, and he had kids, but he'd been going off and having sex with men, right? And I think that's a lot more common than people think. And he'd been going off and having sex with men, but it didn't fit in with how he viewed himself and his very strong Christian beliefs. And I can see how that will cause a dichotomy and a tension and a depression and anxiety. So he had this gay conversion therapy to have the gay prayed out of him. And I said to him, well, did it work? Yeah. Have you had sex? And this is like a couple of years since he'd had it. Have you had sex with men since? No. You've remained faithful to your wife? Yeah. So it's worked? Yeah. Do you still have sexual thoughts about men? Oh, yeah. But you're saying it's worked. I don't act out on those sexual thoughts. And you can't tell anyone how to live their life or what they are. But I'm thinking, dude, you're still knocking them out to gay scenarios.
Also, would you want to be that man's wife?
I just think it's a funny old world we live in. And, I tick so many boxes, being white, middle-aged, heterosexual, kind of, middle-class bloke. I can't even begin to imagine what it's like for you lot out there. I can't. Whatever your minority is, to use a rather slack-jawed, lazy word, whether it's colour or religion or a physical or mental ability or lack of or sexual. Jeez, man, I have life tough enough as it is, and I've got the easy one compared to everyone else.
You apparently won the lottery.
Did I? Well, yeah, I did. I won the genetic lottery. You're one down because you're a woman.
Well.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're one down because you're a woman. Although it's swinging the other way. Hey, lads, know what I mean? No, but you're white, middle class, heterosexual, middle-aged woman. So you're one below me in the, and then maybe we'll do a little table of where we
should tally up our points.
Tally up our points. I don't know. Oh, man, it's going to be one of those shows tonight. You can call in about what we're talking about, or you can call in about anything you want. If you want to even call in about the football, 0344 499 1000, the late night alternative with Iain and Kath on Talk Radio.
After hours amusement for anarchists, air hostesses, and jet-lagged Antipodeans.
G'day, coppers. Can I crash on your floor?
The late night alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
I suspect it'll be a quiet night on the phone call. We've had a couple of about 4 or 5 people phone in, and I've very politely asked Sam to very politely say thanks very much. Give us a call tomorrow, just because they're voices that we hear quite a lot of. So George and Alan and a couple of other people that called in, don't take it personally. Don't take it as an affront. We do this regularly with people that we have on, but give us a call tomorrow. Because I tell you why, because I've been listening to another radio station, and I've noticed that quite often they have the same 6 callers on every single night. Every single night, the same 6 callers, quite often in the same order. And I keep dipping in and out of this station because you know me, I love speech radio. Love it. So I listen to a bit of Talk Radio, a bit of LBC, some of the BBC locals, Radio 4. That's it, I think, isn't it? I think that's it in this country. Some of the American stations, not so much recently, actually. But because I love speech radio, I love hearing different presenters, hearing how they do things. I'm not averse to nicking a few tricks. I won't nick content and I won't nick phrases, but I'll keep an ear out for tricks. Just like a musician goes to a concert and you see a guitarist do a little lick on a guitar, you go, Oh, I'm going to try that when I'm at home. I do the same thing. I hear things on radio stations go, oh, I'm going to try that technique next time a situation like that arises. And I think it's great. And I think anyone that is involved in radio should listen. Me and Kath used to. We haven't done it for a while, but we'll go and do talks at colleges and schools, and colleges and schools. To people, some of whom wanted to work in radio, some of whom had no interest in it. They just, it just gave the teachers 45-minute breaks.
It was like putting a video on.
Yeah, it was. And we would go in and talk. And quite often, a couple of places where they were studying radio or media studies or something, you say, right, what are your favourite radio shows? No hands will go up. Okay, who here listens to the radio? And in a class of 20, maybe 2 hands would go up. And you go, but you want to work in radio, yeah? Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. Well, then surely every second of your waking hour should be listening to the radio. I don't want to say should. Should is not a word I particularly like. But you would have thought so. And I can't get enough of radio. I'm moving over to podcasts at the moment. I'm really digging podcasts. I find there's too much choice there, which is why I'm a little bit hesitant. But I'm really getting into that. But I listen to all these different radio stations. And I listen to presenters that I don't like as well, because sometimes they do little tricks that I wouldn't mind nicking, and also it helps me work out why I don't like them.
Yeah, what not to do, just as much as what to do.
So we would go to the who here listens to the radio? 2 out of 20 would put their hands up. Why was I talking about this, Catherine? There was a reason.
Listening to different radio stations, and you hear the same 6 callers in a row.
That was it. Honestly, man, it's one of those days. Man,
it's like a conversation with my mum.
I'm stoned, man. And so, listen to this radio show. And it will literally be the same 6 callers, and they'll often get between 15 minutes and 30 minutes on there to talk. And some of them are interesting, some of them are boring as hell.
One of them does the same patter every night.
Yeah, and I find it interesting and amusing and funny and boring, all in one lump. And so, and I also know that by having lots and lots of regular callers who are on every single day, not a criticism at all, that it can put off the slightly more nervous caller, the slightly more reluctant caller, or the shy caller, the nervous or shy caller. Such creatures do exist out there. And I've had people say, I'd like to call in, but when I hear such and such and such and such and such and such calling in, I don't think I've got anything to contribute. Everyone's contribution is as valid as everyone else's. Alan Caddick, God bless him, he was on trial the other day, phones in every single day, okay? His contribution is as valid and as important as the person who phones in once every 3 years. Exactly the same. George, who we just mentioned, George has been phoning radio stations for years and years and years. He's only just discovered us in the last 3 months. His phone call is as valid as someone who phones up, bottles it and puts the phone down.
From my point of view, though, I get a little tingle whenever I see it's a brand new person. I get a bit excited because it's like getting a new present. Who's this going to be? So
please. And also, and I know I have to kind of dampen we're getting a little bit too self-referential, and I kind of made a vow to myself to stop being meta about the show and be forward-thinking. But please, no one take it personally if they phone up and they don't get on. No, don't send me emails. Certainly don't send me tweets, because I ain't on Twitter at all. I don't think I even tweeted the Periscope link tonight. I don't think I did. I think I turned that off. Don't email me. Don't tweet me. Don't email or tweet Catherine. Why didn't I get on tonight? I think they're going off me. Because that paranoia and that sense of entitlement is a real it's a real buzzkill, man. It kind of causes resentment on my part, because it's all good. Saying that, it does mean that I make the show harder for me and Catherine, because we haven't got any phone calls, because we've had about 5 people phone in and I've waved them all away. So also, if you are a regular caller, this speech isn't meant to put you off calling. Call in. The worst that will happen is Sam will say, "Thanks for calling. Can you give us a call back tomorrow? Try again tomorrow." That's all it is. That's the worst that will happen. If you are a shy and nervous caller or a first-time caller, you're always welcome. 0344 499 1000. Has this first half hour made any sense whatsoever? Really, I'm sweating like I think I'm getting the flu. I'm sweating. You'll put your jacket on. You're cold.
Cold, yeah.
Hey, yeah, my tops are going to come off, man. 0344 499 1000, the late night alternative on Talk Radio.
Jacked up jive talk for janitors, jazz cats, and gin-soaked boys and girls.
Jackamondo.
If you're awake, you're welcome.
I've got 5 cactus needles stuck in my...
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
0344 499 1000. Thank you to everyone who's watching us on youtube.com/Iain Lee. Subscribe to that. And UK Night Owl is watching us on Mixer, which is groovy, man. Let's go to Nick. Good evening, Nick.
Good evening. How you doing? You okay?
I'm all right, thanks. Nick, what have you got for us tonight?
2 things. First of all, I came to see you when you did the rabbit hole with the, when you recorded it and streamed it in London about a month ago.
Did we speak to each other?
No, I had my photo taken with you at the very end, and that was kind of it, really.
Okay. You still owe me £10 for that photo, Nick. I don't know how clear I made that. I was. I'll give you my PayPal details after the show. Hey, well, thanks for coming along, man. It's appreciated. We hope you enjoyed it.
No problem, it's great. I didn't really know what to expect, because listening to you on the show, I didn't know whether your persona on the show was like a performance, but you're kind of, you and Kath both seem the same there than you do on the radio. So
he's about to say we owe him £10 now. Well, I would say... I can't speak for Catherine, but I would say that my radio persona is a slightly amplified version of me, although that amplification is getting turned down on a daily basis. Kath is pretty much, as she is, dull, insipid, angry.
Wow.
No, am I not?
Disappointed.
Wowzers.
Let down by a friend.
Oh, no.
All that stuff.
Nice watch. I like your watch. Well, Nick, yes, anyway, yes.
Second thing is,
yes.
Obviously, I hear about your difficulties on the show with your mental health and other people's mental health and that sort of thing.
Yes.
My neighbour, who's in his mid-30s, and I've lived next door to him for about 10 years, at the weekend told me that he's suffering with psychosis and schizophrenia. He's had previous drug problems before, and he's been on heroin, and he's on methadone and that sort of thing now. He seems fairly normal to talk to, but I said, well, how's it manifested himself? And he seems to think that I've been effectively seeing his girlfriend behind my back to the extent that I've put in cameras in the house opposite so I can spy on him, and I've been teleporting her into my house.
He's not proper psychotic, because he would have thought you not only putting cameras inside his house, but also inside his brain.
It's really strange, because when he's talking to me, he's saying, I know it sounds nuts. And I suppose the question is, we've had a good talk about this, because it's like, well, what do you think I've got to gain from it? Yeah. Why would I do it? Etc. etc. I'm a volunteer on a steam railway, and at the weekend I took him down to the railway, and because I'm there most weekends, and I said, look, this is what I do, because it's great to get away from my day job.
Yeah.
And something like this might be good for you because it gives you something to focus on, and it's something that's so different. And he was absolutely in all of like the steam trains and what I do there.
Yeah.
And I suppose the question really is, in terms of dealing with it, because obviously he's a neighbour and he's a good friend, but obviously he's got a few issues itself. In terms of medication, he's not on any at the moment, but he's seeing is it the practitioner nurse or some psychiatrist or something? He's seen them. He's seen them this week, so he hasn't started anything yet. So I suppose that the question is, could you offer any insight on how best to deal with and assist him with his difficulties, I guess? That's the question.
That is some question. So, do you know, is he using Class A drugs now? Is that what's causing the psychosis, his current use of drugs, or is it his mental illness that is causing the psychosis?
Well, he says that he isn't at the moment, because, of course, I thought it was a drug psychosis, something related to that. He tells me he isn't, but I don't know when he tells me he isn't, whether that's actually the truth or not, or whether...
Well, the thing with psychosis, from my experience, is that you know it's nuts, but it's also real. Here's the thing. I'm not going to go into too much detail about my psychosis, but when I was using a lot of drugs, I had the paranoia. I thought that people were breaking into my flat, and I thought that there were cameras in the... I remember having a huge argument with my girlfriend at the time about the people that were in the car opposite the house filming us, and she's going, don't be so stupid. And I was going to go down there and I was going to smash the car up. She's going, Ian, there's no one there. Proper nuts. But the worst one was the auditory hallucinations, because the seeing ones, eventually you can see there's nothing there, but the hearing ones...
You were hearing cats, weren't you?
I was hearing cats all around the house, because my mum had lost a cat, and so I was hearing cats all around the house. And I would say to myself, this is nuts. But I can actually hear cats. There's definitely cats here. So the point I'm trying to make is, with psychosis, your kind of rational brain can you can point to all the facts, and you can realise to a certain extent your thinking is insane, but it's also real at the same time. So I don't know if that helps with any understanding of what he may or may not be going. You know, you say he realises that saying that you're teleporting his girlfriend is nuts. But he also believes that you're teleporting his girlfriend.
Oh, absolutely. But when he says to me, he said to me, when I tell you this, and he's telling me face to face, he said, I know it sounds absolutely bonkers, and I know it can't be true, because I know that doesn't exist. But I said to him, it's your mind is a very powerful thing. Yeah. It's going to make you believe it, and it's going to seem like it's real.
Do you... Okay, let's forget about him for a second. Do you feel safe?
I do, because I've got cameras.
He has got cameras! Oh, hang on a minute! And he'll tell me he's got a teleporter in the loft!
Well, the thing that makes it worse is, and this is where he's done the teleporting thing.
Yeah.
I'm a big Trekkie fan, and I've been to Star Trek conventions, and I've actually got a picture of me with the cast of the Next Generation of Star Trek.
Nick.
And that's in my hall, so he's seen that, so he thought, aha, that's where it's from.
Oh, God, you're screwed.
I mean, you can buy some good stuff at those conventions, but I'm not sure the teleporter's available yet.
No, they're working on the beta version. It's just not worth the risk at the moment.
He is almost definitely no physical threat to you, but...
well, he has said that you're talking about voices. He does hear things, and he has said the voices in his head have told him, because of the girlfriend, they have told him to do harm to me.
Right.
Now,
okay.
I'm not worried about that, because, as I said, I've got the cameras and I've got an alarm. But because he's talking to me in a rational way, and he's currently seeking help. He said to me that the nurse that he's seen has said, you're at the point where we can still treat you because you're not quite over the edge yet. I mean, how true that is, I was
about to say, I would take everything he says with a huge bag of salt.
Yeah.
Because he could be making all of it up.
He could not be going for help at all.
Yeah. So take everything he said with a huge bag of salt. If he has voiced to you that something has told him to harm you, you are still probably completely safe, but I would bear that in mind, and I would be a little bit careful about going into his property or inviting him into yours. That might sound cold, that might sound harsh, but you have to... And security cameras are great for catching people after they've done So we don't want to be playing the video on the Talk Radio website again. Would you remember Nick? He called us in, and well, here's the video of the guy. And I'm sure that's not going to happen. I don't want to. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm just saying this is a practical thing.
Sure.
He might be a fun psychotic at the moment. But all it takes is too much booze, a couple of lines of coke, an argument with his missus, some bad news from his mum. All it takes is that to go from the fun psychotic, if such a thing exists, to the, losing it for 5 minutes, which is long enough to do damage.
Sure. I mean, ironically, I'm a personal injury lawyer, so there we are.
Well, if he murders you, then you can sue him from beyond the grave.
And that's why I've tried to. When I took him out at the weekend, I thought, well, to give him something that would just keep his mind busy, I took him to the railway where, he's seen the steam trains and he's like in awe of them. And it's, well, this is what I do on here. We went up to a signal box. We went and had a little ride on the trains and that sort of thing. And I thought, well, if I can give his mind something else to concentrate on, maybe that will do him some good.
Yeah.
I think that's really kind of you. But I also think that there's no substitute for actual medical intervention at this point.
Sure. But that's nothing. But that isn't anything Nick can do.
No, I know.
Nick can only do something like that if this guy does cause a problem. But if this guy does cause a problem, which I don't think he will, and I have to keep stressing it, I don't think he will. But then you can get the police involved, and then they can force a psychiatric assessment. Ton. But until that point, it's all down to this fella. So let's hope that he is seeing. So what about his girlfriend?
I would suggest having a word with his girlfriend, but that might make it worse.
I mean, he said, "Oh, do I know?" And I've met her once, and that was it. And then I was going to know her name, and then I went through my phone to show her, say, "Look, she's not even in my phone. So why would I be even talking to her?" I've only ever met her with him once, and that was probably about 3 years ago, and that was it. We've never had any contact since. However, she, from what he says, is alcohol dependent, and he's been kind of dealing with that. So that has probably maybe exacerbated the situation with him.
You mentioned he was a friend. I mean, how close a friend is he?
Well, he's a next door neighbour, so I've known him for probably 10 years. So it's if a parcel comes, it gets delivered next door. I pop round, pick it up.
And has he got worse over those 10 years?
Well, if he hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have known. I've got to have said. I knew he always had a drug problem, and he was taking methadone as a result of that. But if he hadn't have said that all this was happening, I wouldn't have guessed. He always seems a little bit hyper, but I just put that down to the fact that that's just his personality, or the fact that he was on stuff. I'm
going to be honest, Nick. This is above my pay grade, and all I can do with you is share my, some of my experience with my own psychosis and just how nuts it felt, but also how real it felt. So I just want you to bear that in mind. I don't want to worry you by saying be careful, but I would, I think it's sensible to just be aware that there is, this guy has these problems. Most people with mental health issues they're more danger to themselves than to other people, in all honesty. But if he's told you he's had voices saying, I should go and duff up Nick. Duff up, there's a phrase I've not said for years. I should go and duff him up. Then, caution is advisable.
Sure.
And I don't want to paint this guy out to be bad because I don't know. But also, if you do get really worried, you can call the police. Sure. You would be if you sound like a very calm, very rational gentleman. But if it did get scary, you could call the police and explain the situation. I'm sure you don't want to do that, and who would want to do that? That would be a last resort, but you'd be within your rights to do that. You have to put yourself first.
Yeah, but also if his behaviour gets to the point where you are concerned like that, you'll be doing him a favour by making sure the authorities know what's going on with him, because it may stop him from hurting himself or someone else in the long run.
And
Nick, I appreciate that. Yeah,
Nick, we'll see if anybody else calls in who may have been in that situation on either side of it, because as I say, I don't want to give advice that's dangerous to him or dangerous to, and I genuinely don't know what to suggest beyond what we've said.
I just think that probably the biggest part of this is just make sure you look after yourself.
Yeah.
Don't put yourself in any kind of situation where you wouldn't put your brother or your sister.
Yeah.
No, quite appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Nick. Take care, man. You're a good man.
Cheers. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you, Nick. Ta-ta. 0344 499 1000. If you can offer any kind of insight or suggestions into that. That's a tough one.
He's so kind, though. A lot of people would just steer well clear.
Oh, people. Who wants to talk to their nuts neighbours? Who does? No one does. And I use the word nuts in inverted commas. I can say nuts because I am nuts. But who, the weird neighbour, who wants to talk to them? They're in, oh, quick, come in. Don't make eye contact with him. Come on in. You can. Nick's a good man. You're a good man. That we should all have neighbours like you, Nick. 0344 499 1000. Ryan and then Lauren. Then it could be you, dear listener. This is Talk Radio.
Dead of Night Discourse for disco queens.
I'm related to Jedwood and Dolly Parton.
Dairy farmers and distant fathers.
Yeah, well.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee.
Doing lots of things that we don't know about, we can't control.
On Talk Radio.
Yes, great.
0344 499 1000. It's got serious in here. We are eating cough sweets, so prepared for that. That's going on.
I've crunched mine up.
Oh, boy, didn't you? Let's go to Ryan. Good evening, Ryan.
Good evening, Ian. Good evening, Kath.
Hiya, Ryan.
What you got for us?
A long-term listener, first-time caller.
Well done, sir. Well done.
A bit nervous.
Beautiful. Well,
just on the subject of you've mentioned cough sweets there, I'd like to tell you a story of a hotel visit that I've had recently, which is a little bit surreal.
Oh, yeah.
My wife, it was her birthday, so I thought I'd treat her to a little stay. We've got 2 young kids, so, a couple of days away would be just a ticket.
Yeah.
So we looked in the Lake District, which I see you've got the music on.
Oh, I've got the music on already. You know the act. You know the act.
I'm nervous, Ian.
Surely the Halloween music puts you at ease. Oh, hang on a minute. Maybe this music's better. Here we go. Let's try this one. Let's see.
Sexy music.
Here we go. We've got tubular bells.
No, it's not a scary story, though. It's quite a sexy story.
Oh, sexy music.
Okay, here we go. Here's the sexy music. Get in there, brother. Let's hear it.
Right, so I really researched this trip to the Lake District, because that's where we like to go. That's our little getaway.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd booked the perfect hotel.
No.
So we arrived at the hotel. We were a little bit earlier than what we were scheduled to.
Eager, that's why.
Yeah, eager to get
in there,
going. We dropped the kids and we got away. You've got to maximise the time, Kath.
Of course you have.
Absolutely. We're not playing games here, are we?
Well, some people wanted to play games, but we'll get to that.
Oh!
So we get to the hotel a little bit earlier, so the lady says, the room's not quite ready yet. However, there's 3 couples in the pool. So I thought, that's a bit of a strange thing to say. Just show me where the bar is. I just wanted to get a little drink.
Oh.
So on the way to the bar, we had to walk past the pool, and there was 3 couples in there.
Yeah.
The most striking couple of all was one. The lady looked a little bit like Gail Platt.
Oh, yeah.
And she was with a lad who was like one of these Love Island characters. He was a good-looking lad.
Yeah. Gail Platt's a good-looking woman.
Gail Platt can be a good-looking woman if
she had a chin.
Oh, come on.
Let's not chin shame people.
So we thought it was a bit strange, but we got a drink. We didn't think no more of it. We eventually went into the room, got ourselves changed, and we called a taxi to take us into Windermere. Taxi came, and the fella was looking at us a little bit suspiciously. So the first question he said to us was, do you often come to places like this? So I thought to myself, what's he trying to get at here? At this point, there was no suspicion other than Gail Platt with the hunky fella in the pool.
Yeah.
So we thought no more to it. Then we go for our tea to the restaurant, and natural conversation ensues. The chef comes out, and we were the only people in there, so they were just striking up a conversation with us. They asked where we were staying.
You got suspicious when the only thing on the menu was toad in the hole. Or kebabs.
Well. So we asked where we were staying, and we told him, and he shouted the rest of the chefs out, and they were laughing at us.
Oh, no! Oh, Ryan!
And he said the immortal words, though. Are you swingers?
That's tonight's podcast title. Are you swingers?
So, I mean, at that point, I wasn't a swinger. And I must stress, at this point also...
Okay, good. I thought... And that was my entree into the wonderful world of wife swapping.
But my wife then started getting suspicious, thinking, is this my birthday treat? That's where she was going with this. So we had a good night out, and I fielded the questions, and I battered them off, and she...
You did what?
She accepted the fact that it was completely an accident if we did indeed move into a swingers hotel.
Of course it was, mate.
But it was the next day when we arisen for breakfast. And when I say arisen, I mean, you know what I mean. I mean arisen out of my bed as opposed to anything else.
All right, Ryan. See, he's packed full of sexual innuendo, this guy. I'm not buying a word of this. Go on.
So we goes down for breakfast, and Gail Platt, who was with the good-looking fella the previous morning, was now with an older fella.
Oh.
The good-looking fella was with a good-looking girl, similar age.
Yeah.
So we thought, well, that is a bit strange. And then the next night, we had a night just in our hotel room. We were watching DVDs.
Of course you were.
I think that, yeah, no, genuinely. And we got a card through the bottom of the door. Party in room 3.
Oh, my God.
Midnight.
Oh,
Well, that's very late for a party. Normally 8 o'clock is when it starts.
Sexiest of all times, midnight.
Especially when we just got rid of the kids. You know yourself, when you get rid of the kids, you're in bed 9:30.
Oh, totally, yeah.
You've got the ideas of having a big night out.
Yeah.
So then the next day, I said to the lady when we were checking out, I said, listen, do me a favour, is this a swingers gas? And she said, well, to be honest with you, we did suspect that you weren't swingers. However, yes, we do. We can't market it as a swingers hotel. However, it's well known in the area that this is...
Hang on a minute. You can't run a swingers hotel, but then not tell people it's a swingers hotel, because then vanillas like you, Ryan, are going to rock up.
How do you think you recruit new swingers?
Well, apparently the room that we booked, because it was her birthday, I booked a nice suite. And the suite that we had booked, apparently, is the suite that the people book who are the so-called king swingers, king of the swingers.
God, I hope they change the sheets.
Well, they wouldn't have worried about our sheets, because we were about to kip by 10 o'clock.
That remote control.
I hope you didn't touch any handles or anything. Yeah, God, that'd have been up.
You want Dettol wipes on everything.
So, lo and behold, she thought that I was trying to engineer some sort of interrelationship.
So basically, what Ryan is doing, right? How long ago was this, Ryan?
4 weeks ago.
Right, 4 weeks ago. So 4 weeks ago, he tried to persuade his wife to go swinging. When he realised she wasn't up for it, he backtracked. Oh, it's an accident. She still doesn't believe him a month later, so he's phoning us up to say, look, I've been on the radio telling them about it.
Classic failed swinger behaviour.
I'm sorry, Ryan.
You would have bought that, but you've now blown the game.
Well, you didn't get your game blown, it would sound. Ryan, I am not buying this for a second. You're a very dirty boy. Your wife is an absolute gem, and she deserves better than you. You deserve Gail Platt. Hey, listen, Ryan, thank you very much, man. That's brilliant. Thank you, buddy. Cheers. Ta-ta. Oh, man. 0344. What a nice call. 0344 499 1000.
I wonder where that hotel was.
Well, it's the Lake District. I wanted to ask the name, but maybe he can email me. Good evening, Dean.
Hi, Ian, how's it going?
I'm good, mate. What's your story about swinging?
I haven't got any about swinging. I'm sorry. No,
that's all right, mate. No worries. Go on.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm a long-term listener, first-time caller.
Oh, here we go. This is it, buddy. Thank you. Good to have you on board, Dean.
This is a big step for me for tonight. I listen to you on LBC.
Wow.
And other stations, and on Three Counties Radio.
Wowzers.
And Catherine Boyle. So
this guy's a stalker. Oh, all right. Thank you, man. We appreciate the support. Thank you.
No, that's cool. I was going to say I've got to try and watch the Hotel's on 3 o'clock on Saturday. Hotel Inspector.
The Hotel Inspector?
Yeah,
do they repeat it on 3 o'clock?
Well, no, it's on Saturday, isn't it? Next episode, Saturday.
Oh, well, we just watched one tonight. Is that a repeat then?
Oh, no, I don't think so. It's a new one.
Oh, is it the one? No, it can't be.
I'm going to miss that
because the one she does tonight, she swears in, and they won't have swears on at 3 o'clock. Maybe they bleep the swears out.
No, the next one's on 3 o'clock.
Oh, well, it's good. I've got a soft spot for Alex Polizzi.
Have you?
Yeah.
Nah.
No?
See, I've got like a soft spot. What's the other one who does all the shops and that?
Oh, Mary Portas.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're barking up the wrong tree there, mate. But
so it's a tree.
No, but it's like a bit weird though, isn't it? You know, one of them.
Is a bit, well, I don't know. Is it a bit rude? One of them? Why the hell not? I think Dean is. I've just been reliably informed that the next England match is 3 o'clock on a Saturday, and I think that's what. I think Dean is cleverer than us.
No, it's no. I'm going to try and watch that because I'm at a charity thing, and I've just got to try and. I've stupidly volunteered to do a charity thing, and then I realised England are playing, aren't they? So
who cares? You don't care about it though, really, do you? The England playing? Yeah.
I'm not a football fan, but I watch World Cup.
Oh man.
That's the only thing
I found myself, because we were watching the Hotel Inspector, but we could see the football screens.
Couldn't
in the
help
other
but
room.
hear it flipping
We'd
out.
hear it, and I did kind of, out the corner of my eye, I was looking at the penalties, and I found my stomach getting very tense.
It's horrible. It was horrible.
Well, do you mean it's horrible? You won.
No, but you're sitting there watching it, and it's just hard, isn't it?
I don't know. Was it that good?
Yeah, well. No, it's just really hard. Just watching it.
Wow.
It's just it takes me back to being at World Cup 1990.
What happened in that one? Did we win it?
Yeah, we won that one.
We won it! Yeah, we won the World Cup 1990. I did not realise that.
That was Italy, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Dean. You've educated me.
Yeah.
Dean, why does it say on my screen that you're very nervous? You're the most cocksure young man I've ever spoken to.
No, I'm not. I was suffering from PTSD and that. I've been on a downward spiral, because I used to be in the army and it's just all come from that.
Well, let's hope that this phone call is your rock bottom, and you see this as the turning point in your life. You'll look back and go, I can't believe I phoned those idiots up. I can't do any worse than that. It's time to turn my life around.
Yeah.
How's it going now, though, man? You heading in the right direction?
Yeah, it's cool, yeah. Like, a couple of years ago, I was not so good, and then all of a sudden I'm sort of getting back. And what I'm doing is I'm doing a bit of charity work and that, and I find helps me a lot.
Yeah, good.
You know.
Hey, nice one, man. Listen, I've got to go to the news, but give us a call any time. You'd be very welcome.
Yeah.
You're a good sport, Dean.
Mate.
Best of luck. Cheers, fella. Nice people we've had. Lauren and Jerry, stay there. 0344 499 1000. We managed to scrape away an hour of radio there. I don't think we talked about anything. This is the Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee and Catherine Boyle, weeknights from 10 on Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
The wild man of late night radio, Iain Lee.
Differently interesting nocturnal emissions from a legend of late night radio. On air and off the leash.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee.
On Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. So David Byrne of Talking Heads. I love David Byrne. I like Talking Heads. I've seen David Byrne live. Is it twice? I think I saw him twice. Once at the Forum in Kentish Town, and once in Brighton. Sorry, and he's great. He's launched a website called Reasons to Be Cheerful, and it's billed as a good news website. Let's find a news story about it. Let's find it. Musician, artist, and David Byrne launches the Reason to Be Cheerful website, compendium of news meant to remind us that the world isn't actually falling apart. It's been out for a while, but I only just saw it today. And basically, he's fed up, kind of like we are here, or I am here. I can't speak for anyone else. With just the bad news sells, man. Bad news sells, and radio and television news and printed news is all about creating fear and creating division and hatred and us versus them. Now that them may be colour, religion, accent, food, size, profession, but it's always about us versus them, and the multi-millionaires, the multi-billionaires that run all of these newspapers want you to think that they're one of us and we're all against them, right? Thank you, Catherine. So David Byrne has kind of come to this same, talking about the David Byrne website, Reasons to Be Cheerful. He's kind of come to the same conclusion, and he said it seems like the world is going to hell. Let me do a David Byrne impression. I've met David Byrne. I've been in David Byrne's hotel room. Yeah, get out of my hotel room, you. It seems like the world is going to hell. That's not bad. Hang on, let me find it. See if I can find David Byrne talking, and then we'll see.
We'll calibrate.
It seems like the world is going to hell. I wake up in the morning, look at the paper, and go, oh no.
Here we go. So this is him talking.
They started when you don't have an easy
it's not bad.
Transportation like this. You tend to think of, well, if I need to run an errand, if I need to see a friend, I have a 5-block radius.
I have a 5-block radius. Oh no. It seems like the world is going to hell. I wake up in the morning.
Now I've gone a bit black. I won't do the voice. Look at the paper and go, oh no, he writes, often I'm depressed for half of the day. Again, this ties in with this Matt Haig thing. By the way, that Matt Haig book, Notes on what is it?
Nervous Planet.
Nervous Planet. Gave my copy away today, gave it to my therapist today. I finished it, sat in the park, finished it, saw my therapist, and we were talking about Twitter and stuff. I said, oh, yeah, I have this book, have a look at this, see what you think of that. So I'm depressed for half the day. He writes that on the front page of his new project, Reasons to be Cheerful, which began as a quasi-therapeutic collection of pieces of
good news that reminded me, hey, there's actually some positive stuff going on.
And it's grown into an online observatory of worldwide improvement. That's kind of a weighty tone. If Reasons to be Cheerful.world is the place to go to. And it's all kinds of, and I've not looked at it in much detail, but let's look at some of these headlines. Designing for a healing environment. He goes on to say that a lot of the more positive stories are local. That whereas local news will try and focus on the positive, whereas national and international news will focus on the negative generally. I think that's really interesting. Anyway, I've not read it, so I don't know if the site's any good. Reasons to be cheerful.world. Have a look and let me know. But I just thought it was an interesting kind of thing. Apparently it's been going for a couple of months, maybe since January. And I thought it was just an interesting thing, because there's always that thing, good newspapers don't sell. Well, they probably don't, but then no newspaper sells anymore. And you're right, if we put on the front page, I mean, Jesus. The news this weekend, so the bloke from Outnumbered is now going out with the woman from Outnumbered. That was front page news.
I know, people losing their stuff over it.
That was front page news, and it was all very titillating, and and she's left her husband, and it's still in I was in the paper on Sunday. That's still in the papers today. The bloke from Outnumbered is going out with the woman from Outnumbered. That is... And if you kind of read into it, as I did actually, the bloke, Hugh Dennis, goes, we're blissfully happy. That's his sentence. We're blissfully happy. So actually, it's a nice story. Okay, I believe she may have left her husband. I don't know what for. But the fact that I even know that, and I'm probably misquoting it, what's that got to do with me? What is it? And then the papers are running it as a titillation. Celebrity X is going out with Celebrity Y, and Celebrity Y's husband might be So what? So what? What has that got to do with anything? So things like this, and things like this show, if you've noticed, we're really trying to take a more positive slant on things. Things like this show, just chipping away. We're not going to win. This website, Reasons to be Cheerful, is not going to get, the biggest number of hits compared to, say, the Mail Online. And this show is never going to get as many listeners as Nigel Farage or Julia Hartley-Brewer. It's just not. It's just not, because we're trying to do something a little bit positive and a little bit different, and it means that our job is slightly more precarious than some of the, I could come on and do 3 hours of bloody Muslims coming over here with their Sharia law. How do we stop this Sharia law? Or in the last 36 hours, 2 14-year-old boys have been stabbed in London. What do we... I mean, that's a fact that that's happened, but... Me doing that, what does that do apart from scare people? What me saying 2 14-year-old boys have been killed in London in the last stabbed in the last 36 hours. What do we do about it? What do we do about the knife crime? What does that do? All that does is scare you.
And then you get a load of phone calls from people who live nowhere near, don't know what the situation is in those particular neighbourhoods, have no idea of what it is like to be a 14-year-old boy in those neighbourhoods, but can say, oh, well, of course, what they need is ...
I tell you what, an old guy in his 80s phoned up BBC London. Bring back... Now, which one is it? I always get corporal and capital punishment confused. Which is the one where it's walloping with a cane?
Corporal punishment.
Bring back capital punishment. No. Bring back corporal punishment and give these boys the cane. And then this guy went
What they need is more violence.
Well, right. And this guy... I'm going to tell a story that I heard on another radio show. Credit where it's due. I heard it on Dot and Adebayo show on BBC London, right? Because this story is nuts, okay? But this just shows that this guy could not see what he was doing was insane. You're about to hear... an insane story, okay, from another radio show. I don't know what the etiquette here is, but I've credited the guy. So this guy in his 80s, he said, what they need, and this was on the back of second 14-year-old boy has been stabbed in London, what do we do? which is actually something Dotton does quite well.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dotton actually knows
does
what
it
it's
quite
like
well.
to live in those communities.
Yeah, he does, and he
But usually the people he's speaking to don't.
There's a guy on another radio station who was talking about the knife crime epidemic, and I'm thinking, don't use the word epidemic. Don't. But Dotton lived, in a rough area of Tottenham for a long time. He may still even live in Tottenham. I don't know.
I think he's still got a place there.
And he was one of these kids, so he knows. But so this guy is in his 80s. He said we should bring back corporal punishment and we should cane them. Were you ever caned at school? I was only ever caned once. I got 8 strokes of the cane. What did you do to get the cane? Well, it was Easter. We were in assembly. I was 8 years old, and the bishop of the school stood in front of everybody and pointed to me and said, "You Jew, you killed our Lord and Saviour. Headmaster's office now." And I was taken to the headmaster's office, and I was bent over the desk, and the headmaster held my hands, and my shorts were dropped, and the bishop gave me 8 strikes of the cane for being a Jew. And I think children these days should have the cane. What the... What? First of all, I believe the story. But it's horrific. That's abuse. Beating up a kid. Adults beating up a kid because he's a Jew.
Well, beating up a kid, full stop.
Yeah, but because he's a Jew? Because he killed Jesus? Adults? What the heck?
Not just an adult, a man of God.
It's incredible.
Quote, quote.
So that's the cut. So that, I was saying, well, what do we do to start? It doesn't answer. So we're trying to do, kind of a more positive, loving thing. This may put our jobs in jeopardy. I'll say that now. It may, but it's what I want to try and do. Very quickly, and we've got Jerry and Lauren. I know, Jerry, I don't want to keep you waiting, but fascinated by this story about the boys in the cave. Remember the Thai boys, it was 12 boys and their football coach, between the ages between 10 and 12, is it, or 9 and 12, something like that. And they've been missing for 9 days. They went potholing in these caves, and there was a flood and waters rose, and everyone thought, well, maybe they're dead. But some cavers went, well, actually, there are a few ledges they could go and they could be safe. Let's go in and look. And after 9 days, they found them, and we played the clip of it yesterday. Right. 24 hours later, the kids are still there. They could be there for some time. And I think, me and Kath were kind of talking about, well, how difficult is it to get them out? I'm about to tell you how difficult it is, because I'm about to give you the 4 options they've got. None of them are great.
Right. This is one of the reasons why you'll never get me further underground than a basement.
Me and my friend Scoins went caving once, and we tried to get Kath to come with us. And she went, and we went, and it was flipping terrifying, mate. It was horrific. It was horrific. And there was one bit quite early on where we were standing up, and you're sort of walking around this S shape in the cave, and it was very narrow in the middle and wide at the top. So your feet and your head had plenty of room, but it was narrow on the stomach. And there's a bit where I just got a bit stuck. I let Scoins go ahead of me because he's a little bit wider than me.
Also, he was packing quite a lot of sausage rolls.
Yeah, sausage rolls in his suit. And there was a bit where I got a bit stuck, and I could feel the panic rising. Literally, it was like it was rising within me. And this guy the guy we were with. We went with this guide, and he was a rescuer. It was his job in the local community. If people got trapped or didn't turn up, didn't come back. The thing is, you go and rent the gear in the morning. You say, we're going to such and such holes. We'll be back by 6, because obviously you can't take your phone down there. And if people don't come back by 6, this guy gets the phone call and he goes off and finds you. And he was telling me how he'd rescued people with broken legs and how they'd stretchered people and all of this. So I got stuck, and the panic's rising, and I had to say to the others, "Can you shut up for a minute, please?" And I just had to meditate and bring myself back down, get my breathing back into control. I went, I'm fine, I'm with you again. And there are lots of bits when you're crawling along. I abseiled for the first time underground. I'm underground abseiling. Of course, it's completely pitch black apart from the lights on your heads. And then there's one bit where you're crawling, and the guy said, "Right, you got the hang of this now. I'll meet you about a quarter of a mile ahead, probably not even that far. I'll meet you ahead." And so he went off. So it's me and Scoins, me there and Scoins behind me. And it's narrow, man, and I'm crawling. You're crawling through water, and you're crawling. You've got your bag. You've got to pick your bag up. You've got to throw it ahead of you. Then you've got to crawl, and you're soaking wet, and you're so tired. And you get to your bag, and you've got to pick it up. And you've got to throw the bag again, because you can't carry it with you. And I can hear Scoins in the back was stuck. He's going, I'm stuck. Okay, bloody hell, I'm really... And you can hear the panic. The panic. And this guy came out of nowhere, and he climbed over me and went back and just talked. You had to just talk him off the ledge a bit and get him to breathe and say, if you just put that arm up and shift that body around a bit, you'll be fine. Anyway, it was stunning, it was beautiful, it was horrific. We were there for about 3 hours, and when we were coming back, he said, right, we can either go back the way we came, or we can go through a bit that's a little bit harder, and it's known locally as the intestines.
Oh, God, no.
And, in those situations, right, I don't know, I say particularly if it's two men, in those situations when it's two friends, no one wants to be the one that goes, we'll do the harder one, I'm fine with that. And I thought, do you know what? I've got no problems with this. I went, I think I've had enough. Certainly don't want to try anywhere harder. Can we go back exactly the way we came back? And could we get out quite quickly, please? It was horrific.
Good for you.
It was horrific.
Makes me feel sick just thinking about it.
Oh. But so these kids are stuck in it. This story's going to end happily. I'm sure of it. I am sure of it, because there are a lot of really top-notch, clever people working at this, right? But let me read this. This is from the Guardian website. I'm going to give you the 4 options they've got. The dramatic discovery of 12 boys and their football coach who had gone missing inside a cave in Thailand has captivated the world. Attention has now turned to the crucial task facing the Thai Navy and the teams of international rescuers, getting the group to safety. Actually, no. There are essentially 4 options for trying to rescue the boys, all of which are fraught with danger. Okay, here we go. So, number 1, because it's flooded. Wait for the water to go down. Waiting for water to recede is risky because Thailand is at the start of its monsoon season. Rescuers have pumped some water out of the cave systems, but more rains are expected soon, and it could be months before waters are back down near the levels they were at when the group went in. I hadn't read this. Thai Navy SEALs were reportedly taking in 4 months' worth of food supplies for the boys. So they're considering that as an option. So option 1, you wait 4 months. And they're in complete blackness. They've got torches, but there's no sunlight. There's not... 4 months. Okay. Number 2, this is your theory, your idea. Creating new passage. Drilling down to reach the cave does not appear to be practical. Rescuers are probing near the caves for other possible entrances, but have not found any that lead near the group's refuge. Even if they do get close, the British Cave Rescue Council said the boys are located in a relatively small space, and that would make any potential drilling attempt as a means of rescue very difficult.
Oh,
that's
God.
That's out the window.
Those poor kids.
We've got 2 more left. They get worse. Teach the boys to dive so they can be guided out. So basically, the waters have risen and risen, and as the waters have risen, from how I've read the story, they kind of went down. Before the waters were there, they went down under a U and kind of came up the other side. Then that bottom of that U flooded, so they've gone up to 1 level, which is where they thought the rescuers thought they might be. But the waters kept coming up, so they've gone up to another level. So they've got a deep U that they would have to go under. Right, so teach the boys to dive so they can be guided out. This seems extremely unlikely, as cave diving is difficult even for people with experience, and reportedly none of the boys can swim, much less use diving equipment. This is like a film from the 70s. This is the Poseidon Adventure or the Towering Inferno, but real. It's going to make a great movie. They would have to learn to both swim and dive meters underground. You saw me in Australia. I can't do it. Then navigate through a passage that has proved challenging even for their extremely experienced rescuers, through water often thick with silt, with near zero visibility, managing strong currents and passages not much wider than their bodies. That's number 3. So here's number 4, and you can see why the Thai Navy are taking in 4 months' worth of food.
I think I'd hang on.
Number 4. Pass the boys out via a human chain of rescuers. Flipping it. The only other option is to fit the boys with full face masks, providing them with breathing equipment and a thick wetsuit to prevent hypothermia, then effectively passing them out along a human chain of rescuers. However, this would also be complicated. Parts of the cave system are reportedly so narrow that Thai SEAL teams and the volunteer rescue divers had to remove their own breathing apparatus to get through. So it's not clear how the soccer team would be handed through those sections. It would also be extremely slow, with the group brought out one by one using a kind of relay system to minimise risks. If they left as a group and one person got stuck in a difficult section, it could put others at risk. Which one do you do?
I'd hang on. 4 months. How bad can it be? Take a telly.
You can't.
Some jumpers. Honestly, it's the safest way.
Well, what if the water rises more? That's the thing. If the water rises, they get pushed further and further up and further back. There's no guarantee that water isn't going to rise more.
God.
What a situation.
This is why we've got risk assessments. People complain about having to fill in forms to take kids out on trips and things. Thank goodness we do.
It is absolutely incredible. I'm confident those kids are going to come out safe. And boy, oh boy, they're going to have bragging rights in the playground, aren't they? Aren't they?
What a horrific situation.
Oh, they're babies. But I think 10, is it 9 and 12, 10 and 12, something like that. Certainly no older than 12. And, dear God, what a story. I wish them and their families and the rescues the very best luck. But also imagine there's going to be one person, one man or one woman at the top of that line of command who's got to make the decision, who's got to say, we're leaving them there, or we're going to do a human chain and yeah, it's risky and they might die, but someone's got to make that call. Dear God. Honestly, it's going to be an incredible story. It's going to go on for ages, and I hope you will indulge me. I'm going to do it every night. There's a new revelation, because I'm fascinated by it. 0344 499 1000, the late night alternative on Talk Radio.
Tales of mystery and imagination on the radio show that does things differently.
Dolly Parton, I listen to a record all day long.
The late night alternative with Iain Lee.
I'm a nut job, but not that kind of nut job.
On Talk Radio.
Honest to God, it's the new Breaking Bad.
Oh
no. 0344 499 1000. Good evening, Jerry.
I can't seem to face up to the fact I'm tense and nervous and I can't relax. I can't sleep because my bed's all tight. Don't touch me, I'm a real live boy. Psycho killer, just gonna say, Papa. How are you doing?
I'm all the better for hearing Psycho Killer, of course.
Yes, you know, in Chester, there's my law in Chester. You can kill a Welshman.
Say that again.
You can kill a Welshman in Chester. It's true, by the law, so exists. You can kill with a crossbow after midnight.
All that right. I've got is Joe Larson in Chester has a crossbow at midnight.
No, you can kill a Welshman in Chester after midnight with a crossbow. That's one of those old laws they've never repealed, but I think you'd still get done for it.
I think you would get done for it, Jerry. But you can try it for us.
Them kids have gone with them kids. I was rescuing them. You know, they say somewhere it's tight and you can't get through. Can't you have someone at the other end with goggles and pass them?
I think they need a little bit more than goggles. Listen, Andy Linton, right? Andy Linton. Hang on a minute. Shut up, Joe. Andy Linton says, if the passageways are that narrow, how did they get in there? Well, they're kids, and they crawl. If you've never been potholing, you crawl through narrow passages.
And there wasn't water there before.
It's easier to crawl through a narrow passage, A, when you're a kid, and B, when there's no water. Shut up. You don't need to be a good swimmer to scuba dive. Put the scuba kit on them one at a time. 2 divers bring each one out. Andy, are you nuts? Right? It's freezing cold water. It's pitch black. Right? It's pitch black. They've got to go down deep through really... it's not just...
They're not snorkeling.
They're not going down and getting the goggles that they drop. They've got, or the brick that the teacher dropped down there, you absolute pudding! Glad we sorted
But anyway,
that out.
we'll forward your suggestions to the team, because maybe they've not thought of that.
You're right, maybe the Thai seals haven't thought of that, Andy. Well done. Yes, Jerry.
You don't mind. And the miners got stuck. That was a nice teeth. The miners got stuck down. And they put parallel mine trap.
Right, what I got was power them with Minecraft it.
I'm sorry.
No, I know. I'm struggling to understand you. I'm just hoping that what I'm hearing is close to correct, but it would appear that it's not.
It's very odd. No, the man with the white nice teeth. He was on TV all the time, and the miners got rescued. We stood down a pit and he pulled them out one by one. He had nice teeth.
Who's he? I don't know what you're...
The miners that got pulled out one by one.
Oh, yeah,
he had nice teeth.
Yeah. Did they ever make a movie of... They did, didn't they, with Antonio Banderas?
I don't know. Did they?
Yeah, they made a movie with Antonio Banderas. We should watch that.
All right, let me look.
By the way, have you seen Antonio Banderas as Picasso?
Yes.
The picture's incredible, isn't it?
You know, they're both from the same place, Malaga.
Yeah, both dirty boys.
I don't think Banderas has been proven to be a dirty boy.
Not proven, but yeah, there's a film about the Chilean miners with him, isn't there? I'm sure there is.
Yeah, hang on.
What's it called?
Antonio Banderas, Chilean miners movie. It's called 33. The 33.
Yeah, the 33.
33.
Yeah.
Antonio plays very nice teeth.
He's got nice one. I bet Antonio Banderas plays the nice teeth guy.
He's got beautiful teeth.
Jerry, thank you very much.
Right, thank you, Joe.
Ta-ta. Good evening, Lauren.
Hello.
Hello, Lauren. Sorry to keep you waiting so long. It's one of those nights where we go from no calls to loads of calls.
Oh, I'm not one of the people that minds.
Oh, there you go. Beautiful. Thank you. What have you got for us this evening, please, Lauren?
Well, I was just thinking because of the start of the show, but that's a while ago.
Oh, that's a while ago.
We can go back there. What did you want to say?
Let's go back in time.
No, go back in time. Well, I was ringing in partly because today's my birthday. For a little
Happy
bit
birthday to ya! Happy birthday to ya! Happy birthday! It's also Sam's birthday. And
Happy birthday, Sam!
It is also someone else's.
Tom Cruise's.
Tom Cruise's birthday, that was it. I knew it. I knew it was someone else's.
Oh, well, finally I'll share a birthday with someone decent rather than Tom Cruise.
Okay.
Partly I wanted you to sing.
Yes, well, I've sung. I've done it. I've been there, done that, sung that.
And I was saying, because I've made a lot of new friends through the show.
Oh,
so I was gonna ring and
why don't you ring them
people
instead
to
of
come in.
us? I'm joking. Oh, that's wonderful news. I wouldn't trust any of them. They're probably all perverts and thieves.
I trust Katie. The rest of them are on probation.
Okay, well, that's only because she's not been caught yet. But you know that it's only a matter of time.
Oh God, you're right.
It will happen. It will happen. So what did you do for your birthday?
Not a lot.
Oh.
Little boy was at school, so I went out for dinner, and that was about it.
There you go. Birthdays suck. Here's the thing: idiots who take their birthday off of work
when they're over the age of 14.
Yeah, idiots, and idiots that bring in donuts because hey guys, I just brought some donuts in. It's my birthday.
He brought cake in.
Well, he's an idiot then. You're an idiot, Sam. No one cares. No one cares.
I was scheduled to be off today, so it was a happy coincidence.
Hey, can I tell you something that happened in the office? That I'm not really supposed to know happened in the office.
Uh-oh.
No names, no pack drill. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell it delicately. All right. So Talk Radio is next to Talk Sport, and Talk Radio is basically a very small office with 10 chairs, 10 computers in, right? Maybe 15 computers. It's very small, and Talk Sport is right next door to it. There's not even a door separating the two, and it's got to be 10 times the size of the Talk Radio office, 10 times the size, right? So, someone who works in Talk Radio was sat in the Talk Radio bit, right? And someone who works in Talk Radio and Talk Sport was in the Talk Sport bit on the other side, right? Being really, really rude about the person who works in Talk Radio who was sat in Talk Radio, right? And I'm mentioning no names and giving nothing away. You know the story, Sam? Person B, who works for both Sport and Radio, was on the other side of the Talk Sport being rude about Person A, who just works for Talk Radio, okay? But being so loud that Person A could hear every single word of it. Now, I'm telling this story because I'm pretty sure Person B won't be listening to this show. And I suspect Person A won't be listening to the show, but I wouldn't be bothered if either were, because I want to mention this to Person B. I want that conversation to happen, because I just want to go, what the hell were you thinking? So Person B's on the other side of the office being rude about Person A, quite loudly, okay? Not deliberately loudly, not so that Person A would hear, but being, has a very loud voice.
I don't think they were aware that Person A was there.
Okay, thank you. Person B then comes back through TalkSport and goes to Talk Radio and sits next to Person A. Right? You with me so far, Lauren?
I am, yeah.
Right. So then Person B, sitting at the computer, turns to Person A and says, I won't do the voice, says, how are you doing? Are you okay? Person A turns to Person B and says, no, I'm not doing okay because I just heard everything you said about me. Person B gulps I've heard all of this third hand, okay? So this is tittle tattle. Person B gulps, and person A, very bravely, I think, because, had every right to get up and walk out or swear or be... Person A said, do you think we can talk about this? And person B went, not right now, I'm really busy. Person A gets up, maybe to go to the toilet, maybe to go, I don't know where, they go off, maybe to have a little cry, we don't know. Person A goes off. Person B gathers all of their stuff up and leaves the office. Now, right? Now, why am I telling you this story? I don't know, because it's an interesting look into human psychology.
We've all been at some time or other, person A
or person B,
or both A and B.
Yeah. Oh, and I've done that thing where I have been rude about someone and they've been round the corner, or I've had a microphone on and they've heard it in the gallery. I've done that.
Or you suspect they've heard it. This is the worst one, when they don't say anything at all and you think, oh man, they definitely heard that.
So, and here's the thing. We all say bad things, rude things about people we work with. I mean, me and Sam are constantly being rude about you, Catherine.
To my face, yeah.
Exactly. So we've all done it, right? We've all done it. No one can tell me they've not been rude about a colleague, right? But for me, the most powerful part of that story is person A, who's a young person, right? Who's very, very young. And person B is not, it's person A is the experience and
maturity?
That's exactly the word. Experience and maturity should be on person B's side. But person A blew my mind when I was told, they said, can we talk about this? Because that is a brave thing to do. Having sat there and heard it, to say, can we talk about this? That's a bold thing. And I think that shows wisdom, maturity, strength of character beyond their years. I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could.
It's one of those situations where you don't know what you'll do till you're in it, because you see the red mist.
Anyway, I'm putting it out there just because I thought it's a real interesting... And I'm not in any way critical of either of them, because we've all done it. I just think, do it quieter is the thing. But we've all been rude about people, and some of us have been unlucky enough to be overheard. Some of us have been unlucky enough or lucky enough to overhear. And I just wondered if you, dear listener, had ever been in A or B's situation, how you reacted, how you would react. 0344 499 1000.
I got one for you.
Yeah, go on.
My sister overheard someone talking about me on the bus home from school once. One of my friends. Talking about this new guy I was going out with. I hadn't had a boyfriend before.
Yeah.
We ended up going out for 5.5 years. So it worked pretty well, right? At this point, I think we'd been together for about 6 months or so. And this girl was mouthing off at the back of the bus, talking about how I don't understand what he sees in her. He's like decent and she's a geek, and let's look at them looks wise. She's doing really well because no one fancies her and blah blah blah. Anyway, my sister said it was all the way home. Now, growing up, me and my sister weren't very close really at all, but she came home really upset and said, "I've got to tell you what I heard." And she told me, this was a friend, this was a member of the group I was knocking about with. This wasn't just some girl who was in my class. This was someone that I was quite friendly with.
Yeah.
I was gutted. But I sat on it for about 2 weeks. And then at one point, we're all sitting in the common room, the sixth form common room, and she said something like, God, isn't it awful people so disloyal to their friends? And I went, boom, there's my cue. And I said it to her in front of everyone. Yeah, I said, wouldn't it be terrible if someone was sitting on the back of the bus talking about me and saying how my boyfriend shouldn't go out with me anymore because he's decent and I'm quote unquote a geek. She went beetroot red. Very upset. All of a sudden it was my fault.
Yeah, of course it was.
She tried to sort of rally everyone to be in her side. And I felt like that was a moment of glory.
Yeah.
She deserved it.
She did deserve it. But looking back, we were both stupid kids. She did deserve it, didn't she?
Yeah, totally. Of course she did.
But she's tried friending me and stuff on Facebook recently, and I'm just ignoring her. I've never forgiven it.
Now you're slagging her off on the radio behind her back.
I know. She deserves it.
Okay, Lauren.
Social media is evil for that.
Oh, social media is evil. Get rid of it. Get rid of it, guys. I'm clean and serene.
How are you doing that? I was going to ask, because I need to get off Twitter sometimes.
Well, get off it. I mean, I've got Twitter open now, and it's not doing no one's really interacting on Twitter, which is great, because I'm not tweeting anything, so it's kind of pointless. But I just got Kath to block Twitter on my phone, so I can't do it on my phone. And I had 2 hours. I had a meeting at 3 till 4 with my therapist. Then I had a meeting with my psychiatrist at 6, both in the same street. And it was a beautiful day. So after the meeting finished at 10 to 4, went down to this square, sat in a square for 2 hours reading a book about Paul McCartney. For 2 hours, I sat there reading. Got the occasional bleep on my phone that an email had come through, and about buying this flipping house. So I was looking at that every now and then, but I wasn't doing every third paragraph and looking at Twitter and seeing how Twitter was responding to some hilarious bon mot I'd put out there.
But
did I say bon mot properly?
No, you didn't. It doesn't matter. Let's gloss over that.
Thank you.
The big thing about it is, the big thing about it is that you're not using willpower at all.
No,
you just blocked it.
Can't do it with willpower. So it's blocked, so it's gone. And Kath's taken another couple of sites off for me, Digital Spy and Talk Forum, because I enjoyed going on there for the deliciousness and for getting wound up and watching the vitriol dished out to a man who's been an absolute arse of a human being to me, and watching vitriol being dished out to me, and I've blocked those. And I'm trying to think. I don't use my phone at the moment. I'll find ways around. I don't use it for anything else. I use it for emails, texts, WhatsApps, and YouTube.
You took Facebook off it, didn't you?
Facebook has gone.
Yeah.
YouTube. And that's it. I've never had a problem with YouTube. It might develop into a problem. The thing with addictions is you get one down, another one pops up. It's like whack-a-mole, and another one pops up. So maybe Facebook will do. And also, I've noticed that I've tried to go on a couple of sites, but because I've put like an adult restriction on it, there's some sites that I can't access. I would assume I can't access. Well, I know I can't access porn because I tried it just to see. You can't access porn.
Yeah, just to see.
Just to see. No, I did. And there are a couple. I was trying to buy something online for my kids, and from the Dandy and the Beano, it wouldn't let me go to the pay page on the DC Thompson website, so I had to phone them up, and that was fine. I spoke to a very lovely lady. We talked about the weather in Dundee. So you need someone to get it off your phone, Lauren.
There's no one else apart from a 10-year-old, and I ain't trusting him with my phone.
In that case, you're screwed. Thank you very much indeed. 03444991000. Let's go to David. Good evening, David.
Hello.
Hello, David. What have you got?
I'm in that same boat because many years ago, and it's about 30 years ago, I managed a band, and after a gig, the band, leader said, what did you think? And I said, oh, you're really great. But I said, your saxophone player was rubbish. He's tone deaf. He let you all down, and you should sack him. And he said, okay, thanks for that. He said, oh, actually, it's my brother. And he did sack him.
Oh, well, no, fair play then. Well, fair play. He got rid of him. For goodness sake. I hate the saxophone, David. Can we ban the saxophone?
Yeah, there's very few people that can play it well.
The only person I know that can play it well is the sexy sax man. Have you seen him? I'll Google.
No.
Sam, you have my permission to Google the sexy sax man and watch that for 5 minutes on YouTube. Watch him playing Careless Whisper.
That's all he plays.
He really is a master of the instrument. So are you still a band manager, David?
No, I'm too old now. I just dabble and do stuff for free for people and just muck about because I'm kind of old.
Yeah, well, that's it. I can't wait for the day when I have nothing to do. I can't wait. I mean, at the moment I have to do this. A, I love this job. B, I need the money. Yeah, I'm not doing it as a charity. But the day, David, when I don't need the money and there's nothing to do, I cannot wait.
My dad is now working 2-3 days a week.
Yeah.
The garden is looking amazing.
Yeah.
He sits in it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He lives at home now. It's the weirdest thing.
Oh, I can't wait. I've got so many books I need to read.
Yeah.
I've got silly things I want to record. I've got films. I've got plenty to do, David. How do you fill your time?
Well, as I say, I still dabble.
You dabble?
And in the music industry. But I'm getting old, so my hearing's not so good.
Pardon?
But I can still spot a very good pun. I can still spot a good song.
Have you ever met Paul McCartney?
Can I say unfortunately, yes.
Oh yes,
David.
You can, David. Tell me your Paul McCartney story.
Oh, God, this is going to really go badly.
No, it won't. Please.
No, okay, it was some years ago.
Yes.
And it was his son or stepson, James McCartney.
James is his actual son, yes.
I beg your pardon. Okay, correct me. Please correct me. He was playing a gig in in southeast England. I won't name the venue.
Yeah.
To be honest, he was awful.
I've heard this. I've heard that his son's not that great.
No.
And why would a guy with no hits get booked on so many American chat shows? Because of his dad.
Yeah. This was probably 10 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was doing support with the bands that I was playing with, and then suddenly all these kind of people turned up, like, oh, we're taking over, we're doing this, we're doing, front of house. I'm like, really?
Oh, yeah.
And so I just backed away because, that's what I would do. Then anyway, at the end of the gig, who turns up? Paul McCartney.
Uh-oh.
And walks up onto stage and kisses James.
He kissed him?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
On the cheek.
Yeah, that's
good.
good.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good, because I know they've had problems in the past, those two, so that's nice.
No, that was really nice. But then afterwards, we were kind of made to line up and shake hands, and I'm like
meeting
really?
the Queen. Wow.
Yeah, it was a bit like that, but to be honest with you, Ian, I kind of declined.
Ooh, man alive, he blew out Macca! You blew out Macca? Wowzers, man.
Yeah.
You got balls of steel.
Well, I'm true to my word. If I think something's rubbish, I'll tell you, I'm afraid.
Well, let's cut him off before he talks about the show. David, thank you very much indeed. 03444991000, the late night alternative with Ian and Kath.
Experience the unconventional,
Evening, boss.
the unpredictable, and the completely unorthodox.
Exactly.
With rule-free Ian Lee. The late night alternative with Ian Lee.
I've got no internet for the last 4 days.
On Talk Radio.
Well, Sam enjoyed the sexy sax, man. It really is a treat. Go and watch it on YouTube. Good evening, Dean.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Dean.
Sorry about that. I was just watching Mixer.
Oh, hello, Mixer.
Let me take, you're on Mixer.
Take you down, 'cause I'm going to Strawberry Fields.
Oh, I like that's one of my favourite songs.
It's good, that, isn't it? I wrote that. Anyway, yes.
You did? Did you?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Thank you, Dean.
I invented the iPhone.
Yeah, I know you did. My granddad invented the iPad, so he wins. What have you got for us, Dean?
Well, Mixer is about. Are we allowed to comment on the Mixer and the YouTube streams?
Well, you can do, but it's boring. For those who don't know, we stream the show on YouTube. YouTube.com/Ian Lee, and then it is also by my friend Matthew. Is streamed on Mixer. Remind me what Mixer is, because I can't really remember, Dean.
I think Mixer is a gamer channel.
Lovely.
And you're probably a gamer on it.
Well, I'm not. I don't know if I am a gamer on it, but I know that Matthew streams there because he's doing more to publicise this station than any of the drones that work here at Talk Radio. And if people know how to find me on Mixer, even I don't know how to find me on Mixer, but you can watch the show there.
Wow. And it is a superior quality as well to YouTube.
There you go.
Maybe I'm not allowed to say that.
You can say whatever you want. I couldn't care less. As long as you're watching, as long as you're listening, as long as you're taking part.
Excellent, thank you. I have something to say about the boys in the cave.
Yes.
I think Kathy's right. They should leave them there for 4 months.
Yes.
And that this is going to sound stupid, but if you think about it for a minute, it actually works out quite
I've got a feeling it's going to sound stupid. Then when I think about it, it will sound even stupider.
Well, they will lose weight, so it'll be easier for them to fit through the package.
They're going to eat, Dean. They're going to give them... They've got 4 months worth of food in there.
It's not like Winnie the Pooh.
And also, can I tell you why that's... Shall I tell you why that's complete bullshine as well?
Why?
Have you ever seen a 10-year-old boy?
I used to be a 10-year-old boy. Yes, I did. But I was a 10-year-old boy.
Okay, well, then you will know that as a 10-year-old boy, you could not fit into the trousers that you could fit into when you were a 9-and-a-half-year-old boy. And a 10-and-a-half-year-old boy would not be able to fit into the trousers that a 10-year-old boy can wear because they shoot up like rockets. So they're all going to be bigger.
Okay.
And you said the Mixer crowd was better than the YouTube crowd? Thanks for your call, Dean. It's appreciated. our former colleague, Nick Coffer, at BBC Three Counties, interviewed... Why were we talking about James McCartney? He'd met him.
Yeah.
Interviewed James McCartney. This went out 2016, about 2 years ago, May 2016. And you can listen to Nick Coffer weekdays from midday, I guess, on BBC Three Counties Radio. And I'm giving them plugs. We're going to play 4 minutes of his show. 4 minutes of his show, okay? So this is an interview with James McCartney, Paul McCartney's son, about James McCartney's new album, right? It doesn't go particularly well. Here we go. James McCartney with Nick Coffer, the 4th of May, 2016. What have I got to do to get audio?
With the Blackberry train. James takes his inspiration from artists like Kurt Cobain, the Smiths, and of course the Beatles. Sounds like my record collection there. No surprise therefore that he enlisted the help of the legendary man of the knobs, Steve Albini, when recording this new album to produce it. And don't go thinking James is taking the easy route here. Prolific touring, hard work, they've both resulted in James building his fan base in his own right across the world. And James, delighted to have you on my programme. When I had look around last night and I was looking for bits and bobs about James McCartney, I realised that over the years I'd actually read very little about you. You've spoken very little publicly to the press. Was that a conscious choice?
I guess it's just, I don't know, I didn't really have anything to promote at the time, in terms of my EPs and stuff, so I hadn't really released any music.
It's a very different path that you've taken to both Stella McCartney and Mary McCartney, both of whom have had high-profile careers in the arts and fashion. Were you ever looking on them sort of enviously, or would that level of profile actually have been your worst nightmare when you were growing up?
I guess I wouldn't like to talk about my family because it's kind of private, really. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so...
I understand that. However, obviously, in looking at what's behind the music, your family's a big part of that. Looking at your dad, I wonder whether it was more difficult for you, and whether, ultimately you were the closest thing to Paul because you were his son. Did you feel a pressure to follow in his footsteps?
Again, I wouldn't want to speak about my father, like I'm not asking you about your father. Do you know what I mean? It just seems you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it just seems strange, like... I get that thing.
It's not that strange.
I get your point. I get where you're coming from, but you know what I mean? It's just like, nah, like...
Yeah. I've shaped an interview here where I'm going to talk about you as a person, and I'm going to talk about what's behind your music and talk about your story. If you want to answer those questions, that's fine, James, and if you don't, then that's fine too, and we can end the interview. It's entirely... I wouldn't want to put pressure on you, but I want to know your story, and your story goes beyond this album.
Well, for me, it is really about the album, though, the Blackberry Train, that's kind of why I'm here. I'm releasing this album on the 6th of May, and I'm going on tour in May to June. I guess I'm here to kind of promote the album in some ways,
However, my listeners want to hear about you, and they want to hear about your life story. You were brought up by one of the most high-profile families, by one of the all-time great musicians. There's an awful lot in your story that we're interested to hear. If you don't want to tell that story, then that's kind of it, because we've mentioned the album, we're done. So it's entirely up to you.
How long have we got on this interview?
We got 25 minutes.
Oh, really? Of talking like this for 25 minutes?
James, I'm going to end it there if that's okay with you, because I've built a load of questions to find out more about James McCartney, to find out what it was like being brought up by Paul McCartney. I was going to ask James about the death of his mum. I was going to ask about his sisters. I was going to ask about the period where he was addicted to drugs, where he fell out with his father. I had it all there. And unfortunately, James blew it. John in Letchworth has just texted me to say, sadly, that interview had to end, and it did. Disappointed. I've never had to do that on air, I've never, ever had to end an interview. And I would have hoped that, the research I did last night would have meant that James would have had enough questions to answer. But do you know what? Let's move on. It's Nick Coffer on BBC Three Counties Radio. Roy Orbison.
The Big O would never have got angry with him. The Big O would have answered anything that was thrown at him. Fair play. I don't know if I'd have had the stones after that first rebuff. I don't know if I'd have had the stones to carry on asking in the way that Nick did. I don't know if I'd have been able to. I tend to pussyfoot around my guests. I want my guests to like me and invite me out for coffee and think we can be friends. So I don't know if I've been able to have doubled down and put everything on black and gone for it there like Nick did. If I'm completely honest.
But he'd shaped an interview.
Well, I know. We can pick him up on one word, which is, it's a pompous word. But I don't think I could have done what he did. I don't think I could have done what he did.
I don't think you would have done what he did.
No, okay, tell me what do you think he did wrong then?
I think when you're talking to someone, you're having a conversation with them, okay?
Yeah.
And you sense the way the warmth between you, right?
Yeah.
And when you see that there is a hard no somewhere, you should have the sense and the versatility as an interviewer to smooth it through the other way so it doesn't get awkward like that.
But I don't think I could have done a 25-minute interview about Blackberry Way, the new album by James McCartney. I don't know. But saying that, I totally get why he doesn't want to talk about Paul and Stella.
And his dead mum.
I totally get. Yeah, that was insensitive. I totally get that, right? And I guess it's that same thing with me on the Matthew Wright stuff. The people that organise the interview should have made that clear. Look, he's up for interview, but you cannot ask him about Paul McCartney. You cannot mention the Beatles.
I don't know how much prep was done before that. Apart from the questions, obviously, that he'd worked very hard on. But I don't know how much prep was done in terms of, right, what kind of areas can we go into. But I do know that with the right stuff, they asked you several times whether you would go there, and you told them no on each occasion.
That's why I was in great confidence that I wasn't going to answer that question, and I was going to walk off when the cameras weren't on me. Why? Okay, I'm going to say it. Why would you book James McCartney if you can't ask him about his dad? Why would you book him?
Exactly.
Why would you book him? So unless I think the fault there, I think both of them come out with a certain nobility, actually. Both the interviewer and the interviewer. I think they both have a certain nobility. Yeah, James comes off as slightly standoffish and stuff. But if that's the boundary he set in his head, I'm not talking about my dad, I'm not talking about my sisters, then that's great, fine. It's the PR company who are at fault. They should have said, you can have him. These are the things you can't ask him. If you don't want him on the result of that, then that's your call. Mm-hmm. That's what I think, personally. Yeah. But if you've got any more awkward interview guys, we love them. Send them on. Let's go to Mo. Good evening, Mo. Moany Mo.
Hey, Mo.
Here he comes now. It's a Moany Mo. Dun, 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 phoning up Strawberry Moany Mo now. Dun, dun, dun. He hates the show so much that he listens to it every night. He says he's never gonna listen to me again. Then he's always on the phone telling me how to be right. Here he comes now. It's Moany Mo now. Dum, bum, bum, picks me up on something I did 6 months ago. Mo, bum, bum. Everybody thinks that he's a massive tit. Everybody thinks he's got a tiny dick. Nobody likes the words he says, 'cause he is so far up his ass. A Moany Mo, boom, boom, a Moany Mo, boom, boom. Key change. Here it comes now. It's a Moany Mo now. Boom, boom, boom. Everything he says, he's having a go now. Mo, boom, dum, bum. Doesn't like the way I speak to my guests. Thinks that I'm rude to all the callers. Doesn't enjoy anything about the show, but he still listens every night. It's Moany Mo, it's Moany Mo, boom. Here it comes now. It's a Moany Mo now. Boom, boom. Here it comes now. It's a Moany Mo now. Boom, boom. Says he's never gonna call me again. Then he's on the phone with his tongue up my bum. Says that he doesn't like the things I do, but won't let me speak to his dad and his mom. Here it comes now. It's a Moany Mo now. Boom, bum, bum. Phoning up my show just to have a go now. Boom, bum, bum. Doesn't like Catherine and doesn't like me, but he wants to have sex with Iain Lee. He says everything I do is shit. I wish he would get a hit in the face. A Moany Mo, a Moany Mo, a Moany Mo, Moany Mo, a Moany Mo, Moany Mo, Moany Mo. Hey Mo, how you doing? We're out of time.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
He has made a covenant with the night, and with the darkness he is in agreement.
Uncut, after-hours conversation for the up-all-night generation.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee
on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
0344 499 1000. Sorry, I'm chomping on a cough sweet, so you'll hear me sucking on the airwaves. Oh, chance to be a fine thing, not a big young man. Oh yes. Late Night Alternative with me, Iain Lee. Catherine Boyle, weeknights from 10 on Talk Radio. You can listen on DAB, you can download the app, or you can go to talkradio.co.uk. 1 o'clock, of course, it's Paul Ross, and we sit here and we talk nonsense. What have we talked about? We've talked about boys, those boys stuck in, underground, avoiding the football, saying something rude about a colleague and being overheard, all kinds of stuff. You get the drift. You can call in about anything. I've got some more bits and pieces. Oh, we've got a great story about the Japanese football team. Don't worry, it's... You know, we're kind of a World Cup free-ish zone, but Catherine found a brilliant story. Sorry, but terrible indigestion. But we'll do the Japanese football team in a second. Let's go to Dreamweaver first. Good evening, Dreamweaver.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good morning, in fact. Yeah, hello.
No, good evening. We haven't had a sleep yet. It's not morning until you've had a sleep.
I had a sleep. I worked hard. I had a sleep and then...
What, weaving dreams?
With massive dreams, yeah. Oh, it's good. I loved your song at the end of Before the News. Absolutely wonderful. It had us in stitches.
I'm a songwriter par excellence. Did I say that properly, Catherine?
Just about.
Catherine, this guy just reels it off.
Yeah.
Doesn't he just?
I like this guy. I like Dreamweaver. I just reel it off. Whereas those 4 shows that Catherine did, I know she, props to her for it was all scripted. She spent months rehearsing those calls, these spontaneous bon mots with Katie Puckett, all rehearsed and
I
scripted.
shaped it all.
Oh, yeah, shaped.
You guys together, by the way, Katie Puckett, absolutely fantastic. I loved every minute.
All right, buddy. All right, buddy.
She's great. I miss her so much.
All right, buddies.
It ain't gonna beat you, mate. It ain't gonna beat you.
It ain't gonna beat me, mate. I like this guy again. August the 20th. I'm off on August the 20th. I think Catherine's filling in for me again.
Oh, amazing. It's good to chat to you.
Amazing that they gave her a second shot. That was what he's saying.
It was kind of ladylike.
Very ladylike, very ladylike.
Yes,
considering,
yes, I thought it was.
Yeah, I thought it was very civilised. I thought it was very civilised, very ladylike. I'm not listening to those shows. I need to listen to them.
No, you don't.
Yeah, Oh, by the way, tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Thanks for reminding me, Dreamweaver. 10 o'clock. It's a staircase special. We've got the guy. It's tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've got the guy. James Warburton, is that his name? No,
yep.
That's not
something
his name.
Warburton.
It's Warburton.
Warburton.
Matt.
Chris Warburton. Guys, Chris Warburton from 5 Live, who does a podcast called Beyond Reasonable Doubt about the staircase, which is a Netflix, well, about the murder that is featured in the staircase, or murder, or was it an accident? Michael Peterson, his wife, was found dead at the bottom of the stairs, blood everywhere. Did he murder her, or was it an accident? You've not seen it yet, have you, Catherine?
I've nearly finished the first episode.
Oh, mate. Can you watch it all? Have you seen it, Dreamweaver?
Do you know what? That makes me actually want to get a television for the first time in 10 years.
You all have to watch it by tomorrow, because otherwise... You've got to get on there, Catherine, because there's a real great twist about episode 4 that you have to know about before I mention it.
I'm handling it.
Please, tomorrow.
I'm all over it.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, watch 2 when you get into
I've been given in the last 3 weeks, because I come from Glastonbury, so that's that's my birthplace.
That explains a lot. Yes.
Massively.
Have you how many times have you smoked a doobie at the top of the tour?
Socially, nil.
But professionally?
Recreationally, nil. But personally, many times.
Do you feel the energy? Do you feel the energy of the ley lines running beneath you?
I was given a lovely pair of dowsing rods from a lovely guy called Septimus, and I was up there all the time.
Septimus Prime?
So it could be Septimus Prime.
Isn't there a hole? Isn't there a hole in the ground that leads to on the Tor? This big hill in Glastonbury that leads to King Arthur's. There's a hole in the ground that leads to King Arthur's secret chambers or something, isn't there?
There is, if you follow the labyrinth of the tour, yes, there is, yes.
But no one's ever been able to follow the
labyrinth. But there's also a local legend that's in Alderley Edge behind a big rock.
Yeah. And also, ley lines are, you know what ley lines are? So ley lines are power lines that run, natural power lines that run across the country. Yeah. But, have I got this right? They were just like invented by some vicar in the 1920s who thought, wouldn't it be a nice idea if there was like energy running from places across the country? So he got a map and he just drew lines across it and went, yeah, those are ley lines.
Yeah, my friend's dad had ME.
Yeah.
And they moved his bed around so he wasn't having a ley line right across his neck, and he got a lot better.
Shut up! Ley lines cause ME, Dreamweaver? No!
Fact.
Let me come and have that. Pass that doobie round. Don't bogart the joint, baby. Pass it.
The amount of stuff that I've told tourists about ley lines and the fact it goes through the red and the white spring water.
Yes.
Oh, massive.
What does tourists say about it?
And they go, well, it must be something. This guy's meditating on them.
Yeah, exactly. You get that meditation right up your ley line. Anyway, Dreamweaver, put the crystals down for a second. What have you called in for?
I called in because I came in on a gist of something. I think Catherine was talking about her father or somebody doing something at an age, doing different jobs. And
Hang a minute. Catherine, were you talking about somebody doing something at any point during this show tonight?
Yes.
Yes, she was.
Was it somebody, an elder?
You old head! Come on, man. Speak English.
I know what it was. Because we were talking to that fella David, who said that he dabbles in music now, but he doesn't do anything he doesn't want to do anymore. And I was saying that since my dad only works 3 days a week, he's living life. He's living life at home now rather than out of it. And the garden looks amazing.
In the garden.
Yeah, elders.
Yeah.
Ley lines.
And ley lines, yes.
Yes. So
he lays down in them.
So, I started a job, and it's called Local Treasures, and it's for people that are over 50.
And what is it? Is it finding hot older women for them to go and have intercourse with?
Local treasures.
Anything you like, anything that comes to your mind. I'm looking for ideas now, Ian.
Well, hang on. So what is this Local Treasures then? If I was to sign up for it, I'm 5 years away from being over 50, so I'm 5 years away from being able to sign up for Dreamweaver's Open Treasures. And boy, oh boy, I really suspect that this business will still be going in 5 years' time.
Oh, it'll be going for life.
Yes, man, yeah, man.
The rest of eternity.
Don't bogart that joint. Pass it round. Come on, man. So what would I get? What would I get?
What would you get? From a Local Treasure?
Yes.
You would get anything that you wished for at least £15 an hour, possibly upwards. You can.
I know what you're after. Because you're talking about your new house.
Yeah.
And you want an old man to do the garden.
I misunderstood this. I thought this was of the service for old men where they would go and find. But you're saying that you can find employment for old people for £15 an hour.
It's not me, but I'm working for a group that does that, and it does anything. So it's anybody over the age of 50 can have a job working for this company, doing things for local people.
Okay, supposing I needed someone murdered.
I would love you to ring up about that. I'd give you the number straight away. You ring them up and say, I'd like Dreamweaver to do it.
I don't think he'd be particularly thorough. I'm just saying.
What techniques would you employ?
What technique?
How are you with a garrote?
Sorry, my girlfriend's talking.
Shut up! Go and make love to a ley line!
You're in...
Howard, what was the question again? Because she's very distracting this evening.
How are you with a garrote? How's your garrote technique?
My garrote?
Firm. Oh, she knows.
You kinky old dog! Hang on a minute.
She said firm. That's good enough for me. That's good enough, yes. It's firm.
Okay.
And constant.
What about nunchucks?
No, not constant. I'm losing it now, and I'm being... Say again?
I think we're going to be cut off.
No, you're not going to get cut off. Just wait there. Can I just make a quick phone call while you guys are here? Just be quiet, 'cause I need to make a quick phone call. Be quiet.
It's a bit late.
Just be quiet, guys. Seriously. I need to make a quick phone call. If you could... Sorry, I should have done this before. The, thing. Okay.
Hello, you're through to Local Treasures. I'm sorry we're not available to take your call. Please visit our website, localtreasures.me, where we have a 24-hour live chat facility. Alternatively, you can leave your message after the tone. If your call is an emergency and you're a current...
Whoa!
I dumped it.
All right, sorry, I got... Right,
748 929.
Begin speaking after the tone. Then hang up when you are finished, or press any key for further options.
Hello, my name is Ian. I live in Glastonbury, near one of the ley lines. I believe you can get old people to do anything that I want. Well, I need someone to be murdered. The person I want murdered is a gentleman by the name of Dream Weaver, and I would like him to be murdered by his girlfriend, murdered via a garrote and sex. If you could get that sorted out, I believe the fee is £15. Thanks very much for your time. Thank you. Bye-bye. There we go. There we go, dude. Your girlfriend's just got a job tomorrow. She better get to bed early.
Oh, she's only 44.
Oh, no, they can't use her! You escaped for 6 years. You've got 6 years left to roam this planet, you deviant.
Start running.
I feel like a bit of a sugar daddy now.
Hey, you dirty old man. Thanks for that call, guys. I'm going to find someone to murder you. 0344. Well done for spot. I didn't realise she was giving out her number. 0344. They were nice, weren't they? I like those.
Local treasures.
Local treasures. And that, by the way, that does sound like a brilliant company, by the way. That's genuinely their number. It's a genuine company. Vetted local gardeners, cleaners and handymen. I like that. All over 50s. Our number is 0344 499 1000. This is the Late Night Alternative on Talk Radio with Ian, Kath and Dreamweaver.
The Late Night Alternative with Ian Lee.
On air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
0344 499 1000. For the first time since the start of the show, the switchboard is empty. So you can give us a call. Now, in our effort to find nice, uplifting stories, Catherine, you found a story about the Japanese World Cup football team.
Yeah, this is brilliant.
Go on.
This is from CBS News, but actually from the Japanese players, actually. Yeah. If the World Cup was won on sportsmanship, Japan would have taken home the top prize. After a heartbreaking loss to Belgium in the round of 16 on Monday. In round 16 on Monday, surely? I don't know. I don't know about football.
Say that again. I think it's right.
After a heartbreaking loss to Belgium in the round of 16 on Monday.
That's correct.
What does that mean?
It means the quarter-finals.
The round of 16?
Yep.
Is that right?
Don't look. Whoa. Don't look.
I'm looking at a football man.
No. Yeah, but I look at a worldly wise man.
Nah.
It's the round of 16. That means there are 16 teams competing in it.
Oh, right, I got you.
Flipping heck.
The Japanese men's team stayed behind to clean up their locker room.
You sure you don't want to look to Sam, just to make sure it's definitely Japanese and men and team?
Listen.
I'm not. I am.
Butthurt much?
It is, actually, but...
Japan held a 2-0 lead in the second half before the Belgians stormed back to take control of the game in the final seconds, CBS Sports reports.
Don't care about the football.
Belgium scored 3 goals in the final 25 minutes to earn the 3-2 victory. Nasser Chadli netted the winning third goal in the 94th minute. Despite Japan's loss, the team saluted their travelling fans with a bow. And also
hang on. Now, hang on.
I know.
Hang on. They did what now?
So now, okay. Now we have problems. Sam, would you say saluted with a bow?
They bowed with a bow. I've been to Japan. And
would you say?
And I was in the army.
Salute sound all right to you?
They bowed with a bow. They bowed with abandon.
And also took the time to clean out their locker room before leaving, according to a photo shared by sports journalist Tancredi Palmieri on Twitter. The photo shows a spotless dressing room and a note with a single word in Russian, spasibo, which translates to thank you.
Good for them.
But it wasn't just the players. Japanese fans stayed after every game of the tournament to clean the trash out of their section of the stadium, including Monday. Some fans even tidied while fighting back tears.
Oh, I thought you said while fighting. They were using karate. That's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's Japan. I mean, yeah, they've got very messed up attitudes towards women, subservience and sex.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I'd much rather have that. I'd much rather have perverted sexual activity kept behind closed doors.
Well,
and have tidy football matches than what we have. So well done, Japan.
Which was today just a load of blokes going, "Ah! Ah! Ah!"
And if you're watching on the YouTube there, I think we all know what we were looking at as Kath was shaking her chest rather violently. Wasn't her face.
Is it just the Japanese have got old-fashioned views of women?
They were rocking all over the world.
What can I do? They're attached.
It's a genuine question, and you can ask me a question about what it's like having nuts. But what is it like having boobs? because as I've got older, the last couple of years...
You have to hold them when you run down the steps.
Well, this is what I have to do now. Now
What,
I've got...
your cojones?
No, my boobs bit, because I've got these kind of moves, because I put on a lot of weight since taking the mirtazapine, and I got off the mirtazapine, I lost weight, then I put it back on. I went and saw my site today about coming off the venlafaxine, 150 milligrams. He went, yeah, I'm not keen to do it now. Let's wait until you moved into the house and the divorce is finalised, and then we can talk about it. So hopefully 3, 4, 5 months away from starting to cut down on it. And he makes sense. It's two of the most stressful things ever. I don't necessarily want to come off the pills just now, but I would like to. But anyway, so I would say in the last year, 18 months, I developed this chest. And when I run, I can feel it slapping away. And I'm making light of it, but actually, it gets me down a lot, and it's thoroughly unpleasant, but I can feel it. And I just genuine questions. This isn't me being my flippant, naughty, fifth form crudité. Did I say it right? What is it like? What's it like having boobs?
Like that, but worse. So it doesn't just hurt a little bit if you run,
Yeah.
and it's not supported. It
Right.
hurts a lot.
And sleep.
Go on.
Sleeping in bras is
Yeah.
the thing. That's the thing that's always surprised me, that women sleep in, because I would have thought that they were quite constricting and uncomfortable.
Depends on the bra you're wearing.
Okay.
Sometimes, sometimes you want that. Sometimes hot nights you probably don't want it.
Just
anything.
flaps everywhere.
Yeah, but then some women find it difficult to sleep on their fronts.
Yeah.
I've never been that bothered. I can sleep anywhere.
And I'm genuinely, these are the kind of questions that we don't, they're almost impossible to answer these. What's it like being a boy? I don't know. I just am. I need something more specific to work with.
Sometimes on my way home from work, I'll take my bra off in the car.
Hey,
truckers. Just because it gets a bit, all day.
Yeah, hey, truckers.
All day. But, for the most part, I don't think about boobs as much as you do. So let's talk about your testicles.
Yeah, ask me anything you want about my balls.
Does it tug?
What do you mean by...
When you walk, does it bounce up and down? Because,
I don't...
At least a bra supports. You've not really got a support. What you need is like an underhanger.
Guys, I don't think some people are taking this...
No,
So, at the back. No, well, they're kind of... if you wear Y fronts and they cup, basically,
Yeah.
and everything is kind of just...
Is that not more
supportive.
comfortable?
I've worn Y fronts for about 36 years.
Right.
I think 36 years. I don't really know. I wear boxers, so there can be a little bit of... you can sometimes sit on a nut. That can be uncomfortable. Generally, they're quite good at keeping out of trouble.
Right.
Quite good at keeping out of trouble.
Or maybe you're just used to them.
I think so. It's weird, isn't it? This is the evidence. Ken from Newcastle, phone up and chat and destroy this. This is the evidence that there is no God. What God, what intelligent, creative being would put genitals on the outside of the body? That's
Well,
just insane.
Women, for the most part, have got them tucked away.
Exactly. That's of course, because they should be the most protected things, because it's what keeps the human race going. It's the genitals, and yet ours are outside. Anyone could give you a kick in the ghoulies.
Yeah.
The ghoulies. There we go. That's our body talk for this
Thanks
evening.
very much.
03444991000. I had something happen to me the other day. Sunday, I was in Chelsea. And it was very hot, and it came out of a Costa. I didn't come out of a Costa, but I'm saying Costa because I don't want to tell you where it actually was. So I came out of a door, and there was a topless guy. He looked rough. Well, hey, whoa! Don't have a go at me. We all make snap decisions like that. I thought this guy looks rough. That was it. Then
When you say rough, do you mean like tough?
No, I mean like common.
Yeah.
And not all common people are tough. I was common when I was a child, and I was a pussy. And he was riding his bicycle over the King's Road, and he said something to me, shouted something at me. I knew he was common. I said, beg your pardon? He said, do you want... And he's on a bicycle. Do you want to buy a bike, mate? Do you want to buy a bike, mate? And I thought, what? No. How often does that line work? That guy had stolen that bike, wouldn't he? Either that or he got bored of riding it in the heat. What other reason would there be someone to be riding a bike? Unless we were literally just around the corner from his bicycle emporium, where he had hundreds of bargain bikes.
And a top.
For sale, and some clothing. I thought it was the weirdest thing. And then I was reminded, and I encountered these people 3 times, 3 separate occasions, and loads of my friends encountered them. And if you lived in North London about 20 years ago, you would have encountered them as well, dear listener. The guys that would rock up in a white van, a big white van.
Leather jackets.
No. These are very, very specific, right? Rock up in a big white van. Happened in Camden quite a lot, but also I think it happened to me in Kentish Town and somewhere else. Hello, mate. You all right? Yeah. We're not from round here. How do we get to the M1? Oh, I think you got there. All right. You don't want any speakers, do you, mate? Sorry? You don't want any speakers, do you? Why, have you got some for sale? And the story, because I asked them a couple of times the story was, we have delivered, and they had all the paperwork, they had the chits. There's a great old 70s word, the chit. Have you got the chits? I need to sign. Where's the chit? I need to sign it. Did you get that chit signed? You didn't get that chit signed. Go back there and get that chit signed. We can't get the money unless you get the chit signed.
You also needed a chitty to get out of PE.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
A chitty?
A chitty.
Chitty, bang, bang. I don't actually know what a chit is, just a bit of paper. A form.
Like a permission slip.
Okay. Get that chit signed. So he'd say, look, I've got all the paper, and he had paperwork. All the paperwork. They were really nice, nothing menacing. They were in their late 20s, early 30s. We've just delivered 200 speakers, right? They're worth 500 knicker each. We've just delivered them. And we've signed it all off, and we're carrying a pair of speakers too many. Okay, so we've got a pair of speakers. It's all signed off. It's all legit. They weren't 500. They're worth 250 quid. You can have them for a ton. And I'd go, nah, I'm all right. And 3 separate times, over a period of about 3 or 4 years, I had these people. I don't know if it was the same people, but it was pretty much word for word the same thing. These people would stop me. And loads of my friends had it as well. And I think, and I'm going to check tomorrow, I'll text him tomorrow, I think my friend Spencer bought a pair of the speakers.
And were there speakers in there, or were they bricks?
No. He got speakers. He said they weren't the 250 quid speakers that he was told they were, but he said they were good. They were well worth over 100 quid. Yeah. I'm sure. I'm going to text Spencer tomorrow. I'm sure that's the punchline to that story, is that he bought the speakers and said, well, yeah, they were certainly worth 100 quid. Got his money's worth.
Because for a long time at 3 Counties, Stephen Rhodes used to do the consumer programme, and there was a big thing for ages. Like every show gets like its run of a certain story coming back.
Yep.
So for Jonathan Vernon-Smith, it's the mopeds, right?
Yeah.
For Stephen Rhodes, it was the Italian leather jacket man who would pull over into car parks and offer people jackets. I'm just coming back from a fashion show, and I've got these extra leather jackets, and you can have them for a certain amount of money.
Wow.
Yeah. Leather jackets.
When I was in Canada once. Well, I was only in Canada once. I was in Canada making a movie with Angelina Jolie and Clive Owen. Thanks very much for asking. And I went for a walk, because was only used for like 2 days, and I was there for 2 weeks. Flew me in business class, put me in the same hotel as Samuel L. Jackson. And I went for a walk. And this car pulled over, and guy opened the boot, and he had a load of jackets in there. There was another gentleman an older gentleman who I believe wanted to perform oral sex on me as well. That was the same little walk. So I was obviously walking...
Oh, I was going to say, not in the same van.
No.
That would be a bargain.
I was obviously walking in a very, very naughty part of Canada, where leather jackets and blowjobs were being handed out willy-nilly.
Must have been the special day.
If you've ever met those... speaker dudes, then you can give me a call. You can give me a call if you've ever been stopped on the street and someone has tried to sell you something. You can give us a call about anything. The calls have dropped off a bit, and that's absolutely fine. We'll go through the papers and have a look, see what we can come up with before Paul Ross comes in at 1 o'clock. 0344 499 1000. You're listening to the Late Night Alternative on talkRADIO.
Unmissable late night radio with the original king of unconventional conversation.
Make contact with Ian Lee. The Late Night Alternative with Ian Lee
on talkRADIO.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. So, Joy, summer holidays are nearly upon us. Oh, man alive. It's just money and having to entertain people who don't really like you anymore. Story of my life. Story of my career. So these are so kids buy presents for their teachers, and here are some shitty presents for teachers from kids: a sack of potatoes, half-drunk bottles of wine, and stolen car radios and jewellery have been listed among the worst gifts given to teachers. Members of staff say they have also been presented with thongs.
Wow. Half-eaten
boxes of chocolate and re-gifted items from school raffles. That's not so bad. Because you've got to remember as well that not everyone can afford to give teacher a present. And not everyone's a bumlick and wants to give teacher a present, but not everyone can afford to.
I don't do presents, they get card.
And they get a salary. A survey of 1,220 teachers and assistants lists the stunningly bad presents brought in by pupils for the modern practice of thanking a teacher at the end of term. It's not modern. I think I took teacher presents. A teacher was presented with a bag of potatoes. Now, that's not a bad present, because a bag of potatoes is 3 or 4 meals.
Mm-hmm.
There's meals.
It's better than getting in one of those crappy teddies with a mortarboard on it.
Yeah.
Going, best teacher. They've got loads of those, by the way. They don't want any more.
A bag of spuds. You've got 8 spuds in there. If you just did jackets, that's a week's worth of dinners. It's a week's worth of dinners. What a great gift.
Potatoes are your ideal gift.
Well, here's what's happening from now on. For Christmas and birthdays, I'm giving people potatoes. By the way, Eben has sent back the log. So we should hopefully get that tomorrow, maybe the day after, the logbook. Then we're going to send it on to the next dude, and we're not going to open it or look in there. Okay?
No.
So we for those who don't know what the logbook is, we'll explain it tomorrow. We'll explain it towards the start of the show tomorrow. But who was the second person? Dean.
I've got it all written
Brian.
down.
It was a man.
It was
Scotland. Gideon.
No.
Glenford.
Gerard.
That was it. I was close. Gideon was close. Gideon was very, very close. We'll take calls straight to air for the last 30 minutes. Let's see. You phone up, you'll go straight to air. A teacher was presented with a bag of potatoes, while another was given a plan your wedding book, despite being nowhere near getting married. This just sounds like ingratitude. Because, okay, plan your wedding book. Well, I'm not getting married. Well, not yet, you're not.
You need to make some plans.
You should open the page, and this is like really early days. Of course, I think that's a great thing. One received jewellery, which they were sure was stolen for me. Well, you don't know that, so stick that jewellery right up your bumhole. And one said they had been handed a stolen car radio in a carrier bag. Again, where's your ev? Where is your evidence that that was stolen? Other gifts included a re-gifted diffuser, which the recipient knew was from the Christmas raffle because they had put the ticket on it. Okay. An aftershave given to a female worker. The thing is, though, with the scents, the smellies, I'll take the call. The smellies, I can wear perfume, you can wear aftershave.
Yeah, I've got several.
Yeah.
I've got several.
I've got, I've had a little spritz with a woman's perfume.
The his and hers thing is nonsense. If you like how it smells and it smells nice on you, then go for it.
Let's go to line one. Line one, you're on the wireless.
Oh, hi Ian. Bear with me. Alexa, stop.
Alexa.
Oh, she's not working.
Alexa, play talk radio.
She's playing it. Alexa, stop.
Alexa, start.
Oh, she can't hear you now because I'm just on the phone.
Here's the thing. If you've ever seen the film WALL-E, where Wally finally gets up to, this nirvana that's promised, it turns out it's a comm. Everybody just gets driven around in buggies. They sit in chairs that move from one side of the room to the other. I don't think they even have to lift their hands to change the channel. Everything is done. So they're all morbidly obese and terribly unfit.
And their legs don't work.
Their legs don't work, right? And their arms don't really work. And this is what Alexa and Google and all of that, that's what it's doing. It's like this is advert. It's a funny advert. Ask Google to do it. And it's got David Walliams in it. It's got John Boyega in it. It's got, some civilians in it. It's a funny advert. It's like, I want to phone my agent. Get Google to do it. Oh, I want to order. Get Google. One of them is, I've got to send a thank you card. Get Google to do it, right? So that's weird. But also, I just don't see the point in any of this technology where it's you just sit on your fat ass fat, sweaty bum crack and go, get me, do it, you do it for me.
Order a pizza.
Order pizza. All right, admittedly, okay, well, you know, it's the TV remote control is kind of the bridge between. Do you remember when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Get up and turn the telly over. Why have I got to do it? Because you're the kids.
Or the remote control.
My job.
The remote control on a wire.
That was my job as a kid.
We didn't even have a remote control. Why? There was nothing. We didn't get a remote control until I was about 11.
It was a knob.
Yeah, it was a little
It was a knob on the TV. You had to turn the knob.
Get up and we had push buttons on there. Get up and turn. I don't want. And you big slide on the floor. I don't want it. And we had a TV. Get up and move the aerial around a bit. I can't see. There's ghosting on that. Get up, move the aerial. Oh, Dad, I don't want to move the aerial. We had to do it. And now it's like, Alexa, can you clean my intimate parts, please? So here's the thing. I'm saying Alexa's going to kill this society. Anyway, Louise, yes.
Well, I didn't pay for Alexa. Alexa was given to me just because somebody else had got a more recent one and was given to me. And because you have done the call straight to air,
yes.
I couldn't hear what you were saying, so I just put Alexa on just so I could hear the show.
Okay, well, you're on now. Now we're getting very meta and we're deconstructing the whole process building up to this phone call. We're in the phone call now. What is it?
Okay, the logbook is being sent back, and you told me to give you a ring whenever the first or the second person or whatever it was.
No. My instructions are very specific. Catherine, would you like to remind Louise what my instructions were?
I think you should.
I think you should.
No, I think you should.
If I do it, I'll do it with a tone, and she will take it personally.
Go on then.
Oh, I'll not take it personally. I'll not take it personally.
I said you should ring back when the second person has it. And we would discuss
is that what it was?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes. So the first person that sent it back today, does the second person have it?
Not yet.
Thank you, caller.
You're such a cow. Can't believe you said it with tone.
I told you I was going to. 13% they have received. The worst present they have received is something featuring the phrase "best teacher." Oh, you ungrateful shitbags!
I know.
I'm ungrateful.
That's why I'm not getting presents. They can have a nice note.
I like teachers. I'm not one of those presenters. Oh, teachers, they get the really long summer holidays, guys, and they're whinging about having their pensions cut. And teaching's a miserable, miserable job. And the number of people that train to be a teacher do it for something like 4 years and then leave because it ain't what they thought. It ain't teaching. It's all about testing and getting the right marks for Ofsted. It's not about human interaction and creating enjoyment and spiritual connection. I think teachers have it rotten, but stop being so ungrateful. Kid brings in a present, you suck it up and you take it and you say thank you very much indeed. Aren't I right, line one?
Hello, Ian.
Hello, line one. You're having a refreshing drink there, line one. What was it you're drinking? I'm going to guess. All right, don't tell us. Me and Kath are going to guess. And Sam, you're going to guess as well. We're going to guess what Kasif is drinking. I'll go first, then Catherine, then Sam. I'm going to say orange juice. Am I close?
No.
Oh, it's your go, Catherine.
I'm going to guess. Totally tropical lilt.
Ooh.
No.
Sam, you'll go. I'm going milk. He says milk.
No, I'm actually eating pasta.
He's eating pasta? Eat it again. It sounds like you're drinking orange juice. That's a drinking noise! He is drinking pasta! Cassie, what, how would you like to enlighten and enrich our... That's what we're doing tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, first hour, we'll talk, did this bloke murder his wife or was it an accident? You've got to watch it. Because you wait till you see what happens in Germany.
Okay.
Oh, mate, please. You haven't seen it, have you, Sam? Right. So first hour, did this bloke kill it? And because he's in America, we can say, I think he killed her, or no, we don't think we did. Kind of. So we'll talk about that. The second and third hour, you can only come on the air if you've got something to enrich and enlighten us. Enrich or enlighten us with. How about that? You're yawning, Catherine. I'm assuming that's a good yawn?
No, that's a wow. Ow.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Okay. Katsif, what would you like to say to us this evening, sir?
Well, there was a story about some sellers. And this one is about 10 years ago. This one came outside the house, Polish people selling some gear. And opposite people who live opposite us came out and they were selling iPhones and iPads, the latest ones, and they bought an iPad and an iPhone from them. And then, about 3 minutes later, we all came out to look at it, and 3 minutes later, Haya screams, and we go out and we find out that instead of iPhones and iPads, she's bought potatoes. She paid about $1,000 for potatoes.
Who? Hang on a minute.
Ice buds.
Who paid who was it that paid $1,000 for potatoes?
The family who lived opposite me.
Right. And did they not think to, I don't know, look in the box before they handed over £1,000?
No, you see, they had 2 boxes, because we were there as well. They were showing everybody, do you want to buy this iPad, do you want to buy this iPhone? They gave it around. So they had the one real one, and then they had boxes with potatoes inside them as well. So they handed the boxes with potatoes to them.
Did they eat the potatoes?
I have no idea. I just heard screaming, and next thing you know, they blew shouting. They gave us potatoes, and then the police came about 2 hours later, and they recorded the license plate. Somebody had looked at the license plate of it, but they were never caught.
Okay, well, on that happy note, I'd have eaten those potatoes. There's evidence. Here's the thing: never buy anything from anybody on the street or who comes to your front door. Why would you do it? It's like never. If you see someone doing a card game on a table in the middle of the street, why? The thing that always gets me, and I've had arguments with these people, the dodge pots that set up perfume shops. They do it a lot in Oxford Street. I don't know if they still do it. I've not seen one for a few years. But it's a well-known scam, right? You get an empty shop. You get it for a day, 2 days. You get it for a day. You set up a perfume shop. You go, right, ladies and gentlemen, we have got the new Victoria Beckham price. But this will cost you 65 knicker in the shop. I'm selling this one for £5. Who wants it for £5? Everyone puts their hand up.
I've seen it. They've got like loud hailers.
Yeah, they've got microphones now.
Yeah.
Someone puts their hand up and they chuck it and they take a £5. Flipping heck. Whoa, okay, I'm watching. All right, we got the latest, the Britney Spears. This goes for 70 quid in the shop. I want a £5 for it. Who wants it for a £5? Everyone puts their hands up, right? Someone chucks it and gets a £5. You think, whoa, flipping heck, this is great. Does that a few times. He goes, right, that's it. Now, we got your black bin bags here. I'm going to put it here. The Victoria Beckham, the David Beckham, the Britney Spears. There is over 500 quid's worth of stuff in here. All I want is 50. Who's going to give me 50? The hands go up, right? Sells it. And then he pulls out all these black bags that are already filled up. Now, these are all mystery bags. You see what we're going? 50 quid a bag. 50 quid a bag. And so everyone's like, flipping heck, yes, man! Yes, man! Yes, man! And so they buy it, right? And of course they get out. And it's like really crappy aftershave you get for a quick market aftershave.
Or it's knockoff.
No, it's not even knockoff. It's just crap, because he's not shown you what he's putting in there. And of course, the people that are getting, if you want, I've stood and watched these because I was fascinated by the psychology of it, because there's a lot of like hypnotism techniques. The thing of getting people to put their hands up a lot is like compliance. You get people to comply with you, so they become more malleable. And I'd watch it for a couple of hours, and of course, the show would finish. You go, right, that's it, we're done, thank you very much. 20 minutes later, everyone's moved along. Oxford Street, very fast-moving street. It starts again. And you watch, and it's the same women. It's always the women. It's the same women that get those things for a £5. The Stooges. And I've argued with these people. A couple of years ago, I had a massive argument with them, me and my wife. And I was arguing, going, this is a con. This is a con, guys. This is a con. They are conning you. And the women got really nasty. I mean, really rough. It got scary. And a guy came out and these are crooks. These are crooks doing this. And you got some bloke that used to be on the telly. I don't know if they recognise me. And the police turned up. And I'm going, this is a con. This is a con. They're ripping off tourists. People from all over the world. I got really angry. People from all over the world are coming to Oxford Street, one of the best shopping streets in the world. And these arseholes are stealing from them. And the copper said, we know, but we can't do anything about it.
The thing is, what they're doing, they're not saying what's in the bags.
No.
So they're not breaking the law.
No, exactly.
Even though we know that morally it's super dodgy.
You'll see them. They still pop up in shopping centres. I've not been down Oxford Street for a long time, so I don't know. They tend to do it kind of near Christmas and stuff. 0344 499 1000. Call straight to air. Late night alternative on talkRADIO.
The Late Night Alternative with that man, Iain Lee. There's no strangers here, just friends you haven't stalked on Facebook yet.
Have never sent my picture to anyone who didn't request it.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Yes.
Yeah. 0344 499 1000. Call straight to air for the last 10 minutes of the show. Paul Ross in at 1. My name's Iain Lee. Who are you, lady?
My name is Catherine Boyle.
And this guy... What is your name, this guy?
Hi, I'm Andrew.
Hello, Andrew. What have you got for us tonight? What would you like to bring to the Late Night Alternative dinner table? Supper table, if you will.
I'd like to bring to the table, just to give a bit of context. I phoned you up about a month ago. I'm the guy that was in hospital and was worried about crap people visiting him.
I remember very few calls, but sir, I remember yours. You were getting visits from crap people that you're a bit bored with. You didn't really fancy them coming round, but
you couldn't get away from them.
They were coming around to us. Well, what's the latest? Have you died?
Well, unfortunately not.
Oh my gosh!
I escaped the hospital, so I'm out now. But I'm on loads of medication, so I'm phoning up for a bit of advice. Basically, my favourite band are The Cure.
Oh, I'm sorry to
hear that. And I've got a kit. Alright, you don't like The Cure?
I don't mind The Cure. I met Robert Smith once. He's a very, very nice gentleman. Yes. No, I quite dig The Cure. The Cure are all right. Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Well, Joe.
They're playing Hyde Park this Saturday.
Yeah.
And I've got a ticket to go.
Yeah.
But obviously it's like a heat wave at the minute, and this medication I'm on is saying, like, I'm not allowed to go out in the sun at all because it makes your skin go mental and you can go blind and stuff.
Oh my God.
So
Turn him into a vampire.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, should I still go to the gig? Or will most of the people be there?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Vampires anyway?
Here's the thing. We are not allowed to give medical advice, and certainly not allowed to give any advice that might contradict medical advice you've given, or suggestions from your doctor or from your pharmacist, or even the warnings on the thing. But you know what? I think you should just go.
What?
Go and take a parasol. Yeah. Take a parasol with you. There's nothing effeminate or weak or about taking a parasol.
Also, it's just the place to take one. You won't be the only one.
I'm not going to be worried about being effeminate at your gig.
Well, this is very true. Well, also, because me and Kath are going to go and see Paul Simon at Hyde Park in a couple of weeks, and we looked at the bill. The bill is long, man. All I want to see is James Taylor and Paul Simon. Mate, I don't mind if I catch a bit of Bonnie Raitt, but I don't want to see anybody else. James Taylor and Paul Simon, right? So, what you need to do, Catherine, you can Google this. What time are The Cure on stage? You don't want to see the other bands, do you, Andy?
They're on at 8:40.
Right,
that's night time.
That's night time, buddy. What are you whinging about? Stop being a pussy.
I'm not whinging. It's just this medication. It says you may go blind and that, and I'm thinking I might.
It's got to be worth the risk.
Right, I'm whinging.
Gotta be worth. Just obviously have to put a legal disclaimer. If you go blind, ha ha, Yabu sucks. You can't sue us. It's your own stupid fault, you idiot. But. I remember once when I was in hospital with glandular fever, right, really ill, and I had tickets to a gig, and we came up with an elaborate plan where I was going to break out of hospital and get driven to see this gig and then get taken back to hospital. We didn't do it in the end, but that's how desperate I was to see Gary Glitter. Gary Glitter was playing in Reading. And I was prepared
How old are you?
I was too old for him. And he was playing in Red, and I was prepared to break out of hospital. So you're out of hospital. You've done the breaking out part. Just get yourself covered. Take a parasol. They're on at night.
The danger you were in was probably worse than the danger I was in.
Exactly. Many who've been with Glitter wish they had gone blind. Let us know how it goes, Andy. Of course, we cannot give medical advice, and if you die, that's your problem, man. And it shows you're up being a sucker. Line 2, you're on the wireless.
Hello,
you're on the air.
What, mate? Is that me? Hello.
Yes.
No, it's all right, mate, because normally say about turning the radio off, so I don't know.
Okay, thanks for calling. Let's go to line 2. Line 2, you're on the wireless.
Hi, is that me?
Yes.
Because my name previously was Ray, not line 2.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm in the middle of a country lane in Bury St Edmunds, and I just thought I'd give you a quick call just on the off chance that there was sort of a little bit of time. The last time I spoke to you, I told you that I was about to get a new job as a prison officer. And I'm now up near Newmarket training to be a prison officer.
What training do they give you to be a prison officer? Looking tough, sending out tough vibes.
Well, it's 12 weeks. First week is at the prison, and then the following 10 weeks are at a training school.
12 weeks doesn't seem that long because I would have thought it would have been more than that for a prison officer. Oh, well, okay, there you go.
Yeah, and I've got my midterm exam tomorrow, so I was just phoning in to ask for some advice, please.
Don't answer the questions incorrectly. What kind of things will they ask you? If a prisoner is being obnoxious, are you allowed to A, smack them around the head, B, smack them around the head only if they're black, or C, you get someone, the supervisor in? Is that the kind of questions you get asked?
A, no.
Okay.
B, that's racist. And C, no.
Excellent stuff, in it. I'm teasing. I think prison officers do one of the toughest gigs in the world. But what kind of questions do you get asked?
Well, you've got to learn all the legislation.
Oh, man.
But I don't know. You don't probably remember. I'm the 6'4" guy from Dublin and Bath who. Yes. You accused me of being shorter than you. But prior to being a prison officer, I was a policeman for 17 years. So I've been in a sort of similar area before, but this is far worse.
Can you volunteer to do the bum cavity searches?
It's not something you really want to volunteer for, to be fair.
Oh, really?
What?
Dude, you know all the stuff. You know what you've got to do. You've just got to go in there and be confident. You know, you can do this.
Yeah, but the problem is I'm 49, so I'm a lot. Ian, you'll love this.
Yeah.
One of the girls in our class, there's 18 in my class.
Yeah.
The youngest girl I say girl, I should say woman because that's politically correct. She was born in 1998.
People were born in the 90s? What the hell? Outrageous!
I was born 30 years prior to that.
Babies. Hey, mate, listen, I guarantee, I know this, because you said, you'll be fine, man. You'll be fine. Just go in there, be you, answer the questions to your best of your ability. You will be fine. You got this one, Ray.
Can I just say, you're a top man. I love it a bit. Kath was great when you were away.
Right, thanks for calling, Ray.
There was a butt there.
Big butt. Come in, Paul. Let me just quickly say hello to line 2, and then we'll talk to Paul Ross. Good evening, line 2. No, you're too slow. Okay, right. I mean,
a sharp intake of breath and then silence. I hope they're all right.
Someone's like, well, have you seen The Staircase? The Netflix documentary.
Yeah, I like it. It's good stuff, isn't it?
We got the guys.
He's guilty as hell, that bloke.
Kat's not seen it, so I'm
well, I've seen the first part, and I've already made my judgment.
But Paul, definitely did it. I reckon so. Totally stoved her head in.
Well, my mind's still open.
Yeah, mine too. Definitely. But we've got the Radio 5 team that did a podcast.
Yeah, I heard you saying about it. Fantastic.
And they kind of err on the side because the Staircase is very much favoured in Michael Peterson's way. He went out with the editor for 15 years of that, and the BBC thing is much more. We think he's probably guilty, you know. Yeah. So it'd be interesting to get him on. But yeah. What is on your show tonight?
Well, we are celebrating a couple of things that are 5,000 years old. We've got a great mystery solved about Stonehenge.
Oh, really?
Which, I cannot wait for. This guy's got a new well, he's not solved. His new theory is... Well, his theory is... The big mystery at Stonehenge is the altar stone.
Yeah.
Which came from a different part of the world to the other stones. It weighs 6 tons. People previously thought it came from the sea. Now they know it didn't come via the water or the sea or the river. No, it was dragged across. What this man reckons is, as they do still in Indonesia, amongst some Bronze Age cultures there, it's not the how is the why. It was the journey that was the celebration.
Right.
So everybody got involved in it, and it's just a fantastic notion, isn't it?
Like the Olympic torches.
Exactly that. Yeah. So we're talking about that. We also talk. We're going to Greenland
Stonehenge
for the very first time on the show because they've made this Neolithic area of Greenland now a kind of area of outstanding importance in heritage terms. It means we can tick Greenland off our world map as well as we go around the world.
So it sounds like that's the only reason you're speaking to Greenland.
I don't think our Inuit contact is listening. That is the only. We've been desperate because it's such a huge landmass, Greenland, isn't it? But there's only about 100,000 people.
And the Vikings called it Greenland to try and entice people to go over there and populate it because it was a hellhole.
And they called Iceland, which is lovely Iceland, to say, don't
so
go
no
there.
one will go there.
They were the first spin doctors. They were the first Alistair Campbells, weren't they, of the Middle Ages?
Exactly.
That's incredible.
And we're also talking about a new planet, possibly the youngest planet we've ever discovered. It's only a few million years old. We've got the astronomer who spotted it first on the programme.
Oh, I love all this. I love Stonehenge in the middle of the night. Absolutely perfect.
We crossed live there for the summer solstice, and I wish we'd done the whole show from there.
Oh.
I think if we're spared next year, I think we will do, because it was sounding fantastic.
Yeah, I bet.
And the guy said, what about, what's next week? I said, I'm off to Avebury now. Off to another stone circle.
That's all from 1 o'clock. We've got time for one last call. Good evening, line 1. You're on the wireless.
I thought I was line 2.
No, you've switched to line 1. You're going to be line none in a second.
Oh, right, fair enough. I was just going to say about the perfume you said about opening up my shopping centres.
You got 30 seconds. No, don't bother. I mean...
He was going to say, but he didn't.
Hey, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Hey, that's all I'm saying.
This is what we got to deal with.
I'm down with the kids.
Paul Ross will be on at 1. We will be back tonight at 10 o'clock. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Sam. Happy birthday, Sam. Don't forget, there are podcasts aplenty. There's the best of this. There's the rabbit hole, all of that stuff. You've been listening to Iain Lee and Catherine Boyle. Paul Ross will be coming up next, only on talkRADIO.